Hi. Today's Pancake Day, apparently. I was scrolling through Twitter, as I do. I do the little tweet, and then I scroll through my feed just to see stuff. Today's Pancake Day, apparently. I had no idea. Apparently, unless I'm wrong about that, and I just saw an old tweet, but I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, apparently it is. I don't know. So... that. Also, how you doing? I have like two things I actually really want to talk about. One is a very short thing, and the other thing I'm just genuinely very excited about. But I'm genuinely just very excited about everything surrounding it every year, so it's fine. Cause I don't know if you've noticed or looked at a calendar recently, but this weekend it's officially October. So I'm very excited about that. I'm very excited about October. I can't officially ramble. I've already officially rambled my Halloween talk at this point. But once it's October, nobody can say like shit. So it's the best. And the also very good part of it being October is the drawing challenges. I like the drawing challenges. The first year I did a drawing challenge in October was, I'll let you know, I can't remember, so I need to look it up. Well, not look it up, I just need to search my phone real quick. Was on 2017. So 2017 was the first year I did a drawing challenge during October. Those drawing prompts, the Drawtober, Witchtober, all the different insert word here tovers at the end, those. So 2017 was the first time I did one of those, and I've been doing them since because I think they're a lot of fun. I like doing prompt drawings. It quote unquote forces me to draw, and it's fun. So of course, I realized I was looking at the calendar today, to see what date Friday and Saturday landed on to make a little poll on the Discord about community night, which by the way is there if you're interested, or you can make it either Friday or Saturday. I made a little poll in the announcements part of the Discord just in case you're interested in community night this Friday or Saturday, whichever one works best for you, or if both works for you, then both and see what fate decides. So yes, that's the other thing. So when I was looking at the calendar to like check what date it was, because I like doing Friday, the date, because it's clearer just in general than just saying Friday. I was looking at my calendar to check because I don't trust my own brain to do that, and then I realized it is so close to October, and I got really excited, and then I was like, I need to look up a prompt list for drawing stuff, and I found one. I found a couple, but I found one I really like. I'm very excited about it. I'll probably retweet out my alt, but I'm so excited about it. It's a frog-themed one. It's so sweet. I don't know, at Munispice on Twitter. Anyway, probably just gonna retweet out my alt. Yeah, I'll just do that. But it's so, just read the prompt. It is so sweet. You know it's gonna be good when the first 3 days are Mushroom, Old Book, and Herb Garden. I saw this and knew immediately, this is the one I'm doing. It's so cute. Oh, it's so cute. And I'm so excited about it. So yeah, but I was looking at the different prompt list, and I was like, I'm gonna choose one today. And then I saw this one and went, yes, this is the one. Frogs. Give me the frog themed one. So yes, that's the one thing I was very excited to talk about. I just wanted to talk about the October prompt list. I just really wanted to talk about that. I like those a lot. I like October in general a lot. To like a wow degree. But I enjoyed so much. Oh, speaking of not October, but like weather getting good. Can you hear that? Silence. My fan is not on. Isn't it wonderful? There's no white noise from my fan. Be excited about it. I was very excited when I realized the background noise from the fan isn't gonna be there anymore. Joy. That is so exciting. It's such a minuscule thing, and yet I am so happy about it. I'm so happy about it. Just I love seeing the mic, like, you know, the bar. I don't know how to. There's probably a good name for it. Just the bar that shows the, like, loudness. That's, again, there's a better way to describe this. I love now that when I shut up, it goes all the way down. Doesn't stay just mulling around the little edge at the end because the fan is on. It's so nice. It's so nice. So yeah, that's a little tiny minuscule thing. I'm just very happy about that too. Anyway, hi, how's your day been? I know I got straight into like 3 conversation topics, and I did that last time too, and I feel kind of bad about it, because I always ask how y'all are and how your day was, and I feel bad when I don't do it, because, yeah, manners. But, yes, how was your day? How you doing? How's life? I hope it was good. I hope it was good. I hope your day's been good, and I hope your day continues to be good. There we go. There we go. I feel better now. I thought I skipped completely over that, over my how are yous, and I felt really bad. I was just very excited about the October prompts and Pancake Day, which I didn't know it was. I feel like I failed something. I like pancakes. I like pancakes a normal amount, genuinely. But like, are you more of a pancakes or waffle person? That's a good question right now. I mean, because I'm just genuinely curious. I feel like pancakes are more special to me, because I don't know. I think I have waffles more often than I do pancakes, so when I have pancakes, it is more, like, special, I guess? I don't know. I'm just saying stuff. I really don't know if I prefer either of. I would have both, just at any time. If you're offering, I must say yes. So, I'm a maple syrup person on my waffle/pancakes. Or occasionally a chocolate sauce, but it has to be like milk chocolate and relatively sweet, because you know we've discussed my relationship with chocolate and how it trembles. We've discussed it in the past, and we don't need to talk about how I don't really like chocolate again, even though I just mentioned it. But anyway, I'm more of a maple syrup kind of person, which is basic, but it's good for a reason. It's basic for a reason. It's a stereotypical thing for the reason. Anyway, enough random chit chat. I've just been just randomly ranting into topics, which sometimes I've realized, sometimes the chit chat beginnings on these, I realize this because when I do the little, what do you call them? The timestamps for the YouTube videos, sometimes I realize they're very short, and sometimes they are very long. But it was good. I hanged out with a trans guy from my class more than usual, and we fist bumped and took pictures of a cat and took a free baby stroller and ran around with it for a while. That sounds fun. I particularly like the free baby stroller part. All of that sounds fun, but I particularly like the free baby stroller part. and ran around with it for a while. That sounds fun. That sounds genuinely fun. I'm into it. So, yeah, I'm interested. I prefer waffles because I have pancakes more often. See, I think it's about that. I feel like you value something more, and not just with food-wise, but just anything. If you have it less often, if it's something you like and you don't have very often, when you do have it, it's like special. I feel like that has to do a lot with preference. Just how often you're, like, exposed to something. It was also raining and we were supposed to be in PE. I love rain. But it's been, like, sometimes it rains. Sometimes it rains really hard. Because now we're in that weird weather doesn't know what to do stage between seasons. You know what I mean. Where it's like, sometimes it wants to be really sunny and warm like it's summer. And sometimes it wants to be really rainy and cold like it's autumn. And I don't know what to wear. That's the biggest issue. And also the issue from last time where I didn't know what to do with my fan. But now, today's been really nice, and the fan is off, as I mentioned before. So that's very exciting. Listen, I can hate on heat as much as I want to, but at least that summer area is very consistent. The moments where seasons are very consistent, like it's consistently hot, it's consistently rainy, it's consistently cold, that's fine, because I know exactly what I kind of have to do. Like, I know if I have to turn on the heater, I know what to wear, I know it's cold enough for a coat, for example, I know it's warm enough to go on shorts and a short sleeve, like that kind of thing. But when it's in between, where it's that weird section where weather doesn't really know what to do, because it's like, we're still at the end of this, but at the start of that, and it's so, because I don't know what to do. It's very confusing. And, like, everyone has a different perspective, especially, like, weather, heat, and cold-wise. So sometimes you just walk out in the street, and there's people who are dressing like it's the middle of summer, and people who have, like, 3 coats on like it's December. And so I don't know what to do. We were like supposed to do running, but we could choose to run outside or inside, and we just went outside and then walked most of the time, and then took the baby stroller and actually ran around with it for a bit and left it somewhere else. Again, the baby stroller part sounds like a lot of fun. The baby stroller part sounds really fun. It gives me running around with a little shopping cart with someone inside the shopping cart vibes. I don't know why. This is just late night pictures of people with random shopping carts. I don't know why, but it's what I thought for a bit. I don't know. You see what I mean? Sometimes the topics just go on where they want to go. And that's fine. And that's why it's good to ask about someone's day. Because then you bring up other things. And then you talk about other stuff. And then, yeah, it's fun. It's nice. Conversation. And water. Water's so good. Streaming it gives me my, like, water intake great. Honestly, no. I that's a lie. I feel like I'm good with, like, water-wise. I usually have a water bottle near me, like, when I'm, like, inside, most of the time. Because I have, like, one on my bedside table, so when I'm in my room, I have water there. When I stream, I have water here. I feel like I hydrate good. I feel like I hydrate, too. I hydrate good. I don't know why I got so confused. I read 2 in Queen's comment, and then my words just got messed up. I got 2 pictures, also of them just hanging on. Okay. Also, I know I said... Listen, I'm trying to start to segue into start playing, which we'll see how successful I am, or if I get off topic again. We'll see. I know I said that I wasn't gonna do the same thing 3 streams in a row. First of all, I take that back. Second of all, shut up. But the reason, I don't have a very good reason. The reason is just because I'm really enjoying this game right now. Shameless. I have no good reason. There's no, I sat down on my computer last minute and hadn't had time to, like, sort anything else out. There's no excuse. I just want to. That's it. There's no good reason. Well, it is a good reason in my head. The good reason today is that I'm enjoying myself and I'm having far too much fun and I want to continue. That's it. And sometimes you just gotta treat yourself. And this is me treating myself by continuing this game. Again. Hey, the octopus / squid / whatever it is, it's back. So yes, there is no reason. Just that I like it and I'm having fun. That's it. That's the only reason. And that's fair enough in my book. And so, yes, another one. So yes, I'm currently gonna be very insufferable for a little bit. Until, like, my little quote-unquote, like, high of it is, like, either fizzles out or we finish. Who knows what'll happen first? You never know. You never know. You never know with these things, but it is literally the same feeling from when I played it the first time. It is literally the same feeling again, where I just remember if you were here for like the first time I played through this game without any DLC and whatever, that I just wanted to continue it. It is the same, and I did like super long streams just going at it. It was like 1 a.m. and I was just here sat playing this game. It is the same feeling again of just wanting to keep going because I'm enjoying it so much. It is the same feeling again. It's happened. It's happened again. It happens. So, yes, at first I just wanted to say that, and now we can softly segue into, while I wait for the baby stroller picture as well, because I'm kind of interested. Speaking of Queen and the baby stroller picture, but not the baby stroller picture, speaking of Queen, I have to also thank Queen again, because oh my god, I was freaking out. After our live stream a few days ago, I got a DM from Queen telling me to check Steam. The music paused at the perfect time. So, thank you, Queen, again. I already thanked you private, but thank you again for the wedding DLC. I was not expecting you to do that. You did not have to do that, but I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much. The music paused perfectly. I'm still not over that. But yes, thank you. My brain is all over the place. Thank you so much. Because, oh my god, yes. So, officially, all DLCs here. I cannot thank you enough. I literally cannot thank you enough. I've already thanked you in private, but I just wanted to say it again since we're on the topic. So, yes. I read this, after installing it, I read this real quick. Which makes sense. At any point, if you are proposed to, or say you're already married, it unlocks the wedding DLC. So, yeah, that's basically what it says here. You could read it if you want. But, yeah, which makes sense. Just if you say you're married or a proposal happens, then wedding is implied, therefore wedding DLC. Yes. I understood that. That's all I've done. Between streams. Just installed it and read this. Is there a Halloween DLC? No, because everything always just happens during summer, but that would be fun. So yes, beautiful. Like, so good. Speaking of Halloween though, I do need random little, if anyone has random little ideas for what to do during October, like spooky things or Halloween themed things, like witch things, or just anything in general that you can somewhat link to Halloween, and you have any general ideas, send them my way. I would be interested. I like doing Halloween stuff. I don't know if you've noticed, but I like Halloween a lot. I don't know if you've noticed, but I like Halloween a lot. So, if you have any Halloween themed ideas, I'm so down. Summerween. My Gravity Falls fan heart is screaming. You can't. No. It's been so long since Gravity Falls first aired and I first watched it, and I'm still there. I'm still there. Never gonna forget that show. I need costume ideas. To be fair, so do I. I'm very bad at coming up with costumes, and I end up just scrolling through Pinterest for like 5 million hours and not deciding on anything. I'll tell you the 2 things that I'm mainly considering now, in case that helps. It probably won't, but I'll try. And in either case, if I keep thinking of stuff, I'll keep bringing it up, because I like Halloween costumes. I like talking about them, and then I'm very indecisive. So I have 2 ideas currently. So, one is fairly obvious. Doing this little, bouncing little person you see on my screen right now. So I could just do a little, I could just dress up as the little, like, me persona thing, which would be fun, because I'd have an excuse to buy elf ear, like the little pointy ears. And I want one of these shirts as well. This is just a little frilly shirt, so that would be fun. I like steampunk dark academia shit, so having an excuse to dress up like this would be so much fun. And my other idea, it's a little childy, but so am I. When I was young, I say that as if I'm like 57. I'm 18. But when I was younger, a little kid me, once for Halloween, I was obsessed with Monster High, and I dressed up as Dracula from Monster High. I enjoyed it so much. It was so much fun, and I got on TikTok a recommendation of like things to buy to do a little costume, and was like, I could rehash it, and then I would have picture of young me, picture of 18-year-old me, both at Monster High. Especially because now people still talk about Monster High now, especially after the live action thing kind of bombed. People still talk about Monster High. I still like Monster High. I still remember it fondly, and that would also be fun. So I could do that just with short hair now, because I don't have long hair and I don't want to get a wig. So short hair edition. The baby stroller pictures. I love it. That looks like a lot of fun. That looks like a lot of fun. Get drunk on a live stream. That would be fun. I have to pull some strings to make that happen. But at some point in my life, I think I would totally do that. I don't know if that's in the near part of the future or the more far away part of the future. But either way, it just genuinely sounds like a lot of fun. So I'd be down to do that at some point. I just have to do a little convincing on just my side of things, just to have everyone who lives with me be okay with it, and then make it happen. But that would be fun. Make a little chat, like a channel point redemption thing. That would be fun. That'd be fun. I went from talking about it hypothetically to actually really heavily considering it. That would be a lot of fun. Plus, like, never gotten, like, drunk, to be fair. So, unless something changes from here until a point where I do it, it would be the first time. So, it would be interesting. It would be interesting. That's for sure. Who knows? Maybe. Anyway, I was gonna segue into and then off topic into the Halloween and random discussion, and now getting drunk, and then costumes and stuff. All over the place. Sometimes the conversation just goes where it wants. It just goes where it wants. Yay. So, we have 2 left for step 2. Sorry, which is I'm gonna pronounce this differently every time because my head, reading out loud, no good. And then road trip, which I really enjoyed, what I remember of it. My memory is really hazy when it comes to just everything in general. So sometimes I remember things very, very. So there'll be moments where we might be replaying some parts, and I'll know for sure. Like, I'll remember so clearly. And then there's other times where I'm like, where like I vaguely remember that something happened. But anyway, we're gonna do a new one first. Which is what I like. I like doing this more than this, because usually I end up doing like 2 or like 4 if I do a longish stream. I end up doing either 2 or 4 for longish streams. So when I do it this way, it usually means I could start off with a DLC one, which is exciting because I like seeing stuff I haven't seen. It's fun. Not that I also don't like replaying. I love it. But yes, new stuff is exciting. I like new stuff. So on that note, I need to not prepare myself, but just be mentally ready for again, reading out loud. Because every time, I feel like I'm not bad, but I mess up a lot. So, here we go. We're gonna do that. And there we go. Let's get started. You'd while away the morning, doing whatever struck your fancy, and now you were recharging with lunch. With nothing on the horizon, you were free to spend as much or as little time on your plate as you wanted. It was while you were thinking of all the possibilities for your afternoon that your moms approached you.
Hi.
Hi. You okay? Yep. Mouth full, you nodded in reply. To your surprise, we've already started. They both sat with you at the table. Based on the time, you wondered if they were joining you for a meal, but neither of them brought anything.
All right.
Great. We wanted to have a little chat with you. That's never a good thing. I'm sorry. Don't phrase that way. I might be jumping to conclusions immediately. But anytime someone says we want to talk, I want to talk, or we need to talk, or we need to chat, or we wanted to talk, or I wanted to talk, or we should talk, any of those lists, genuinely not a good thing. Genuinely not reassuring at all. It might just be me just overthinking it or just relating it to past experiences in general, which is fair enough. But, like, these words are never good. When you haven't come out and someone says we need to talk, is the most scary thing ever. Yes, it is. Oh, no. It's like, first immediate thought, how did you know? And how is this person gonna react? But every time the we need to talk or we should talk or I wanted to talk to you, any of those variations, just any, or any other variations of that comes up, I immediately think of everything that person doesn't know about me, that I've been hesitating on telling that person or don't want that person to know, or something bad I did, and immediately start panicking. Because what did they find out? What do they want to talk about? That it's not good. It's not good. The qualifier little did nothing to downplay the situation. Yeah, pretty much. You're chewing slowed as your eyes widen, looking from one parent to the other. Anything that required both of them to talk to you must be something big. It is very unsettling. It is very unsettling. I don't like any variation of that phrasing, as I've literally just stressed. Don't like it at all. My mind immediately jumps to the worst thing that could happen. You didn't like being the only one not knowing what was going on. Yeah. Stomach churning, you waited for them to fill you in. It's like, okay, yeah, sure. These are
there.
Oh, don't look so worried. It's nothing scary, promise. That would not do anything to help me calm down. But thanks for the sentiment. There's a soiree at the Cypress tomorrow night. Your mom and I are going. The Cypress was the country club your moms were part of, and where Elizabeth played golf. It seemed like every other month they had some event or other, all with fancy names like soiree. Chewing your lip, you wondered what this had to do with you. Mom chuckled at your poorly concealed reaction. Leaning in, Ma took your hand and squeezed it. We've decided to make the night a bit special. Elizabeth's going to be allowed to stay home fully alone for the first time.
Sorry.
You'll still be coming to the party with us. It's Elizabeth's night to party with no family around. Not yours. Sorry, you gotta wait a couple more years. Darn it. That's not fair. You were disappointed by the news. Alright, what's the soiree gonna be like? Yeah, that's the important question here. The usual. Well, mostly. We wanted to make it a special night for you too, so we've got something a little extra planned. Ooh. That was unexpected. Interested? You listened. Joy. Your parents shared a look across the table. You cleared your throat, reminding them that you were still waiting and to please stop silently having a conversation with your eyes. Please, thank you, let me in to what is going on. They couldn't keep dropping such hints and then turned coy when the conversation was about to get good. You just said it was going to be interesting and then you stopped the conversation there. That's not fair. That's intriguing. I want to know more.
Well?
Since it's a pretty fancy party that's still chaperoned, and attendees are allowed to bring a guest, we thought it might be a nice opportunity for you to invite someone yourself as a date, if you want. Your eyes widened as the words sunk in. Your mom's, accustomed to your quietness, continued. Even though we'll be at the party too, you don't need to worry about us getting in your way. You'll be free to eat, dance, and enjoy the music as you see fit. This is immediately sounding a lot more interesting now. Yeah. But no leaving the property. That I can do. The mom nodded at Mom's interjection.
Isn't that great?
Yes, as long as you don't leave the party, and if you'd rather bring just a friend, that's A-okay too. That's amazing, honey. The boy didn't even know it. That's really good. I'm not gonna complain about that. You must have lit up because your parents shared an amused look again.
Don't worry about it.
The soiree isn't until tomorrow, so you've got time. Just let us know your plans before we're heading out. Okay, fair enough. And that's all. We'll leave you to your lunch now. Fair enough. Honestly, fair enough. That sounds not bad. Your moms rose from their chair in unison, disappearing to another part of the house. You barely noticed their departure. All you could think of was what just happened. The remnants of your lunch stared up at you from your plate. You felt that you should finish eating. You had lost your appetite. You were glad to get back to eating. I feel like I should finish, probably. That feels kind of bad. Conversation had taken your mind off the meal, but you opted to try to eat a little more. You picked up the plate for a little while longer. My room. Even though you'd relocated to your bedroom, your head was stuck on the conversation that had unfolded at the dining table downstairs. You knew that. Having someone come as a friend would be best. You wanted it to be a date. You didn't want to bring anyone. It was too soon to pick one way or another. Stop. Why? This is... Now I'm gonna question everything again. Every time anything vaguely happens, just anything that seems generally important in my head happens, I'm just sitting here like... I feel like I've talked about this before. Love choice-based stuff. But every time there's a choice, I'm just like, I don't want to choose. I don't want to choose. Why am I like this? Why? Why must it be this way? Make it a date. Get that date time. I mean, deep down, it must be obvious. That's what I want. Oh, sure. Screw it. The prospect of having your first date made it impossible to sit still. You couldn't help but jiggle your foot as you laid on your bed, contemplating the possibility. 13-year-old video game me getting a more interesting romance life than 18-year-old me has, just in their life in general, has ever seen. This is sad. That night being a date would mean actually asking someone out. The little you knew of that came from what you'd seen on TV and movies, and what you heard about from kids at school. Yes, how does one ask someone out? Yes, in real life, not in TV. Your moms hadn't even entertained the idea of you dating until now. And then they just casually mentioned, you can make it a date. What happened? You went over possible words and phrases in your head, setting up scenarios and smooth eggs before tearing them down and trying something else. Fair enough. You realized that you've been mentally scripting Cove as the one you were asking. It had been his name repeating inside your mind, his face lighting up as you invited him to join you. You buried your face in your pillow, not wanting to continue after noticing. You laughed awkwardly at yourself. Smiling, you closed your eyes at the daydream crystallizing in your head. This is the most realistic one. I blush really hard, and then just continue as I was. You let your train of thought continue a little longer. You clearly pictured his eyes, the way he rubbed his arm when he was nervous, and tried your best to guess what he might do next. It was nice. You liked him. You'd always liked him. A lot. You wouldn't be able to stop thinking of him even if you wanted to, and you didn't. Sighing, you shifted positions on the bed, resting your arms on the windowsill. A flock of birds caught your eyes and led your gaze as they crossed the sky. You watched the birds grow smaller and less distinct until they disappeared from sight. Lovely. Like the snap of a hypnotist's fingers, you were released from the trance and left with a goal of your own. You were going to go take a walk. You ambled through the familiar streets of your neighborhood, picking your path at whim. It was as quiet as ever, with tourists choosing to congregate in the shopping area near the beach rather than venture into the sleepy residential zones. I said the go to take a walk like really dramatic, kind of like ironically, when to be fair, real life me would also say leaving the house is also a pretty good goal most days, considering getting me to leave the house for a reason that's not because I have to is quite fun. Usually it's to go to Flying Tiger. Not even gonna lie. Or go to like a crafting store. Usually to get pens, because I run out of the like fine liners. Because I run out of ink with those so fast, because I use fine liners a lot. So usually it is to get fine liners. And then look around and imagine what it would be like to own alcohol-based markers. Flying Tiger's so good. Flying Tiger B. They put the Halloween stuff up. I want everything. You continued down the road and soon found yourself at the shore. Pretty ocean. Fresh, salty air hit you first, rolling to meet you over the grassy dunes that trickled your legs, followed by the familiar view of the sea stretching out across the horizon. You came to a halt. A lone figure was standing in the ocean. I know how to read. The water reaching up to his knees. Though he had his back to you, you recognized the familiar silhouette as Cove's. It made sense that you'd find him here. He always was in his element by the sea. You had no idea if he heard your arrival or if it was a coincidence, but he looked over his shoulder. Your eyes met. You smiled, you waved, you called out, you nervously headed closer, you confidently headed closer. I'm waving. Hi. Heart pounding, you thrust your arm in the air and wait for Cove's attention. Hi, I'm here. Cove smiled at you, bathed in the soft light of the afternoon sun with his hair gently rustled by the sea breeze. He looked especially charming. He then fully turned around. Phone, no. Shh. I'm in my moment. Stop. Notifications? Bad. I'm in my element. He then fully turned around and began to wade through the water over to the shore. You wanted him to get to you already. You could hardly wait to talk about this. You hoped he took his time to come over. You were nervous about this. You relaxed after running into him. You were alright with all of this. Probably would be nervous. Instead of standing at the shore, you felt like you were on the edge of a cliff. The question of whether to invite him, and if so, in what fashion, was in front of you, between leaping into a world unknown or enjoying the safety of familiar.
Ace.
Am I a coward or am I not a coward? Yay! How nervous am I in this moment? Also, I didn't mention the name thing this time. It caught me off guard, but I was in the middle of a sentence and I just... Hey. Are you free right now? Not exactly. My moms are taking me to a soiree tomorrow at the country club. You winced at your abrupt transition to the topic and hope that goes in mind. We're just immediately going into it. He'd been known to dive into new and unconnected topics in the middle of a conversation, after all. A soiree, huh? Sounds exciting? He was smiling politely, but you could tell that your outing mention hadn't sparked much interest. Your heart, which had lodged itself somewhere in your throat when you'd spotted him, dropped. You stared at him, weighing your options. Cove tilted his head curiously as you fumbled with what to say next. Who better to invite on your first real date than Cove, the only person who could make you giddy with just a smile? But you were afraid he'd think it was boring, or worse, wouldn't want to go with you as a date. You resolved to make it a date. You asked him to join you as a friend only. You decided not to ask him at all. You didn't want to force him to come. You decided not to ask him at all. You didn't feel like having a guest. Am I a coward or not a coward? I think I'm gonna be confident. Again, video game me could be everything I always wanted. Last year, the Flying Tiger in my city had 2 Halloween plushies, bats, and ghosts. That sounds so cute. I have to go right into... Oh, okay. I bought one of each. Sounds good. I bought, I want to get, I don't know if I'll be able to explain it, but the little skeleton hand bracelet, I want it so bad. It looks so cool. I need it. And I bought the little glowy ghost. There's a little tiny ghost structure that has a little battery and it lights up inside. And it looks so sweet. It looks so sweet. I posted it on my Twitter. But it looks so sweet. I love it so much. Looks so cute. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I immediately clicked and then looked away. How did right come out? I don't know. But flying right. Flying Tiger. Flying Tiger's so fun. all the time. I'm procrastinating because I'm not looking at the screen. Flying Tiger is so genuinely awesome all the time. I love going to it. Sometimes I just walk past and be like, I have to go in. Not because I'm looking for anything in particular, but because I just really like it. I like seeing the stuff that there is. They have so much stuff. I love it. I'm gonna stop procrastinating and actually read. Why am I real life nervous? Closing your clammy fist, you swallowed and tried to conjure up the right words. Go continue to watch you expectantly, as one would. Look at the screen, Ace. It might have been easier to do this right now if he was wearing something other than just a swimsuit. Yeah, just still out of it, Ace. Okay, I can be smooth, or I could just... I want you my date for the party. Do you want to go on a date with me? My parents said it would be already if I brought a date. No, we're not doing that one. Would you go to the party with me as a practice date? As a practice date? No, we're not doing that either. Let's be direct. This is more realistic, but let's be direct. Confidence. Full on. We're down. Speaking clear. We are... No fear. No fear. Just a little bit, but no fear. You spoke your thoughts clearly, surprisingly. Well, as I continue to still procrastinate. Caught off guard, he lifted his hands in front of his chest out of surprise, and then he backed them down in a cross over his chest. He twisted his face to the side, no longer able to meet your eyes. He still couldn't hide the flush on his cheeks.
Oh my god.
Are you serious? Well, yeah. You nodded, nodding your fingers together anxiously. His lips were pressed tightly together, preventing any more words from slipping out. You could tell that he was nervous, but that was always easy to pick up on with him. After another moment, he inclined his head, dipping it in a nod so slight that you might have missed it had you been able to tear your eyes from him. Success. Yay! Really? You exhaled deeply, which is what actually happened. Thank you. Welcome. That's weird. I must say... Me exhaling's what actually happened, but we're not gonna... I'm between these two. Yeah! Why am I actually just... Go closed his eyes, trapped in his awkward pose. He was gripping his arms so tight that the skin around his knuckles was fully taut. Ghost's lingering tension made it impossible for you to relax completely. Cove exhaled at last, letting out a sigh that stretched into another tense silence. His stance loosened. His arms stayed crossed over his chest, but he was no longer clutching them like a shield. You didn't want to be the one to break the quiet, especially because I broke the quiet just a few seconds ago, and now if I was to say something again, it would just be weird. So, no. Can't ask again. Thanks. No, you know what? No problem. You know what? You know what? No, you thank you. You thanks. You thanks. I guess I'm gonna have to tell my dad and mom, too. Right. I gotta let my moms know you're coming. Can you come with me? Yeah. It was a relief that he thought enough to manage speech again. I know how to read. You hoped that by the time you got to your house, he'd be able to manage full sentences once more. There's so much loud outside my door. Please shush. I'm scared the mic's gonna pick up on it. Go went to where he'd discarded his things in the sand, tugging a shirt over his head and slipping on a pair of shoes before joining you and setting off home. The two of you stepped inside the front door of your house. It was an action you'd taken together countless times, but your stomach had never churned quite like this on previous occasions. Well, at the sound of the door opening, your mom poked her head into the hall.
Hello.
Hi, Mom. Ah, Cove, it's you. What a surprise. She chuckled at her own joke. Ah, yes, what a surprise. Who was always there, and she knew how close the two of you were. Bringing anyone other than him back would have been an actual surprise. Now that would be shocking. Hi, Mrs. Vixelis, it's nice to see you. So I take it Cove's going to be our guest for tomorrow night? You nodded your head vigorously, beaming at your mom.
Well,
Yay, success, joy. And what kind of outing will it be? Her voice was hesitant but serious. Cove ducked his head down reflexively. You knew that he'd figured out what she was driving at. You know what it is. I can hear some background noise every so often, but I'm just pretending I'm hearing in-game tourists. Yeah, you're just hearing people walking down the street. That's what you're hearing. Shut up. What did it look like you couldn't bring yourself? And it is. Nah, I'm not. Yeah, listen, we're driving at home. Listen, we've already been bold enough so far, and I procrastinated looking at my screen too many times. So I'm not backing away now. We're gonna keep going. No fear. Mom nodded in understanding. She wore a wispy smile. Ma's gonna be thrilled about this. Cove tilted his head back up just slightly. He peeked through the longer strands of his hair. Just her? we need to get the full picture. Even if you'd not been able to see his wide, worried eyes, you'd have heard the anxiety in his voice. Your mom sighed and patted him on the arm. Oh, Cove, you're a great kid. Most parents hope that their kid meets such a special person someday. Pixel's household members are NPCs confirmed. Yeah, you're just hearing. It's NPC background noise. It's just, you know when you look up coffee shop ambience for like reading or something? You know when you look up coffee shop ambience? That's what you're hearing. That's what you're hearing. It's not so loud anymore. So, yay. She glanced aside, a wry expression on her face. Someday is the real keyword there. She turned back to you both. But you just had to move in right across the street at 8 years old. What do you say? Yes, is correct. What do you say to that in this situation? Like, okay. Mom crouched down, shaking her head, and put a hand on each of Cove's shoulders.
Okay.
Oh no! Oh no! I glanced at the screen for just 1 second and just immediately just went, oh no. Why am I melting on my chair? Oh god. I hope you're planning on being very good taste, and I'm not just talking about tomorrow night. She nudged him playfully on the cheek with a fist. Cove, who had been blushing when all this began, was now as red as a heirloom tomato. I think me IRL too is. I'm just picturing this very clearly right now. Just okay. Yeah, I was, or will. You're making him uncomfortable. Yeah, me too. Stop embarrassing me. You don't have to worry. You don't have to worry. You really don't have to worry. It's fine. Just please, whatever makes this stop, please. It was so obvious that you didn't get why Mom had bothered to ask. Please stop. I can't. He didn't speak further, his eyes locked down in his shuffling feet as he rubbed the scar on his arm. Fair enough. Redness remained intact. Fair enough. Okay, I've put Cove through the ringer enough. The big day isn't even here yet. Yes, please stop. You wondered if that meant she was intended to give a repeat of this performance tomorrow, and you were afraid to find out? Please no. I'll give your folks a call and get everything squared away. Okay, good, bye. Love you, but please, no. She headed off to get the phone, leaving the two of you alone. Cove's eyes darted to you, and he shot you a quick, delicate smile before staring at the ground again. I'm gonna go across the street. Talk to my parents. Bye, Cove. You saw him off with a wave. Yay! Success! Only mild awkwardness. Who am I kidding? That little bit right there. Just even picturing made me go, no, please! You retreated from your home's entryway without another word. And the rest of the afternoon passed by just like that. Back in your room, your mind was alight with visions of tomorrow night. The soiree was something, but not nearly as exciting as going on your first date. You were thrilled that Cove had actually said yes, and he was your genuine date to a party. You hugged your niece to your chest, awed by the thought. The night couldn't come soon enough. The evening of the soiree had arrived, the daylight hours having slipped away in a blur. Up in your bedroom, you were getting ready for the big event. That was your intention, at least, but you hadn't settled on an outfit. Stationed in front of your wardrobe, you scanned over the clothing you had at your disposal. Though Ma had mentioned this event was a bit dressier than a normal get-together, you didn't necessarily have to comply. You looked for something formal, you wanted to keep things casual, you wondered how you might feel about your outfit. I've mentioned this in the past, but an excuse to wear fancy clothing seems like a good enough reason to go anywhere in my book. I love fancy clothes. I like fancy pretty dresses. I like suits. I like fancy long dramatic coat. I like so much fancy clothing. I enjoy it so much. Which, in fact, I'm curious at the formal options because at around 13-14 was the first time for a quote-unquote fancy event that I wore a suit. With a bow tie, by the way, because I don't know why I wanted a bow tie. I remember heavily being rewatching Doctor Who at the time and just wanting a bow tie for the reference. Just so I could feel really familiar with it. And also because I just wanted to wear a bow tie at some point in my life. So, yeah. Around 13-14, that was, for New Year's. I can't remember if I was 13 or 14. But around then. It was for a New Year's thing. And I asked my parents that I wanted to wear a suit. Hey! Thank you for resubscribing, Queen. There were just so many ads and I needed the emotes again. The emotes! I love the emotes so much. They're so sweet. I love the dancing one a lot. I don't know why. I'm gonna put it in chat right now because I can. And will. Just, the pixel vibe is such a mood. So I'm looking for something formal, absolutely. You attempted to decide between the nicer pieces in your wardrobe, the ones that rarely had a chance to come out, which is why I say the stuff about fancy clothing. You decided to dress formally because you felt like you had to. You honestly, I like dressing up. I genuinely like fancy clothes. I love fancy clothes loads. There was something magical about the sheen of an elegant fabric and the cut of formal wear, something that transformed everyone into a more sophisticated version of their normal self. To start, you decided to wear a dress, a blouse, a button-down shirt. These are the good questions. This is just my genuine debate every time I go to anything that requires, like, fancy, quote-unquote fancy clothing, or business of, like, casual, or just, like, fancy casual. Just anything that requires slightly more formal wear than a usual event. This is the immediate first thought. Dress or suit? Which it honestly depends what I'm going to, because if I want to be more comfortable, I'll definitely choose suit, because pants are just easier to walk around with, but I like dresses. I like dresses loads. We're going dress. I'm feeling dressed today. I don't know why. Feeling dressed right now. The one you picked was light and had sheen. Had sheen. The silky material seemed to glide through your fingers as you took it from the wardrobe. It was a perfect fit for a summer evening party. What's the difference between a button-down or a blouse? A blouse is just a pretty shirt, I'm pretty sure. It doesn't have to be like a dress, like a suit shirt. You know how button-ups are the ones where you usually wear with ties and stuff? Blouses aren't usually needed to have, like, buttons, first of all. They could just be a very pretty fancy shirt. Or don't need to be for ties and stuff. It's just fancy, like, shirts. Just fancy looking shirts. Fancy tops, basically. So it's not as strictly button up, the type of thing you'd imagine you'd wear with a tie. Even though you don't have to necessarily wear it with a tie, I'm just saying it to make a distinction. It's just a fancy looking shirt. Usually worn by, like, it's usually seen as a feminine piece, basically. It's just like the feminine version of a button-up. Even though button-ups also are, like, can be. Anyway, I'm just trying to describe it in the best way I can. So yes. I don't have any dresses, so for me it's always shirt or blouse, unfortunately. Yeah. I'm not much of a blouse person. I use blouses very few. I've had very few blouses Just generally, I'm generally more like button up shirts, like suit shirts, like for wearing like suits. Even if usually without ties, because unless it's like requires it, because it's like fancy, and it's like not wearing a tie would be weird. So then in that case tie, but usually without. And yeah, so it's usually just like the button up shirts or dresses for me. So. Blouse is a woman's dress shirt. A shirt is a button-down shirt. And a top is a generic catch-all term for any shirt-like garment worn on the upper body. You'll find a disagreement on these definitions, which, yes, seems fair. Yeah, seems fair enough. Because when I imagine tops, I imagine more like summer tops. I don't know why. I imagine like short sleeve kind of stuff, like crop tops kind of stuff. I imagine that kind of thing. When I say shirt, I usually mean t-shirts. Even though, yeah, blouse, I imagine, like, the what I was talking about, like, fancy-looking shirts, fancy-looking tops. And then, like, button-ups or dress shirts, I imagine, as, like, the button-up type of thing you'd use in a suit. So, yes, I could see why there would be debate. You began to get dressed, your fingers working stiff zips and awkward fastenings. It felt different against your skin, reminding you with every moment that you were dressed up. Whatever happened tonight, you were pleased that you'd gotten the opportunity to wear this. Dresses might be seen as reserved for girls for some people, but that wasn't a concept you bought into. If you wanted to wear one tonight, then you would. Exactly. And that just goes for anyone in general. Just wear whatever the hell you want, because, yes. Because who cares? Now dresses. Now dressed, you gave yourself a final glance over before heading downstairs, ready to head out. This looks so pretty, the lighting. You found your moms already waiting in the living room. They were putting the finishing touches on their outfits. Ma strapping her heel into a stiletto shoe, and Mom trying to fasten a bracelet single-handed, which is genuinely difficult. They look so good! I love the outfits! I love the outfits! I love it! They looked up at you as you entered.
Oh.
Thank you. You look so nice, don't you think, Pam?
Thanks.
Thanks for dressing up, Ace. I hope the party will be prepared for your arrival. You look sharp. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Always dressed they're always dressed to the nines. Mom was still struggling with the bracelet. You lent a hand, literally, by taking one side and holding it as she secured the clasp. Thanks, kiddo. No problem. Mom then glared over at the clock on the wall, seeing where the hands were pointing. A frown creased her face. What's Cove going to be here? Do you know? He's getting here at 7, soon probably. I'm not sure. I'm picking him up from his place. I'll go get him. I don't know. What time are we supposed to leave? I could just be really dramatic and say the second to last one. I could just be really dramatic. I'm gonna be very dramatic. Screw it. Oh yeah? Oh yeah. She raised her eyebrows, a broad grin replacing the earlier frown. That's very polite of you. Go sweep him off his feet. We want to leave in 10 minutes. Okay. I'm being dramatic. Listen, all the hesitant, not wanting to look at my screen from before has officially left my body. Cove's house was mere seconds away from yours, making the warning unnecessary, but you dutifully went out. After crossing the street, you found yourself at Cove's very familiar front door. You rang the bell, whose chime was lodged in your head from all the times you'd rung it over the years. Though unlike usual, Cove's mom Kira was the one who answered it this night.
Come on.
Hey Ace, come in. Come on in. Yep, same thing, but different phrasing. She beckoned you inside as if she was so excited to see you that words alone weren't enough. Thanks for coming. The boys will be right down. They're just in Cove's room. I can call them if you want. That would be great, thanks. It's alright, I can wait. Can I go check? You went over to Cove's room to check yourself. That would be great, thanks.
Sure.
Because we need to leave in 10 minutes, because I just got told, even though 10 minutes is genuinely kind of a good frame of time, but either way. She stepped over to the opening in the hallway at the other side of the living room and hollered down. Cove, Cliff, Ace is here! Me leaning back to try to make my voice sound far away, as if I was actually calling out to someone in a hallway, even though I am literally looking at the wall. Cliff's voice came back without its owner. Just a minute! Thanks! Hello, Ace! You chuckled. It was longer than a minute, but Kira easily filled the time by chatting with you about your plans for the night ahead. After a short while later, Mr. Holden strolled into the living room, giving you a wave. Cove pulled his face into a smile. As you reciprocated, the tension in his face faded away. You watched him taking in your outfit, swallowing and grinning at you again. Nice. You fluttered your hand in a clumsy wave. He opened his mouth to speak more, then paused. Cove checked the time using a clock hanging on the side wall and addressed his parents. We've got to go. He abruptly headed towards the door.
Come on.
Where's the fire? Isn't there something you wanted to do before leaving for the dance? Cove froze, wincing at the call-out, while his dad continued to smile encouragingly. Curious, you watched Cove expectantly. What's happening? It was hard to imagine what he would want to do before heading out, or what you'd have time for. Your mom's warning about not taking too long echoed in the back of your mind.
Come on.
We could do that later. Right, sorry, forget I said anything. Have a blast, you two. You waved goodbye before following Cove into the street. Cove sighed, wrapping a hand across his forehead. Seeing the look on your face, he shook his head.
It's okay.
I'm fine. It's nothing. That was good news. You didn't think Cove would get much fun out of a party if he went in already feeling bad, but it didn't explain his actions or his dad's teasing question. What was your dad on about? His expression grew pained, his brow creased, and his mouth furrowed as he avoided meeting you in the eyes. You might have gotten worried if not for the flush coloring his face. He's just embarrassed. Cove drew himself up before responding. Dad's been making a big deal out of everything ever since he found out about this. He gestured vaguely between him and you. And how I'm dressed, how I should prepare, what was going to happen. He even looked up the precise definition of a soiree in 2 dictionaries in case one was wrong. Wow. He wanted to make sure I would know what to do at one, so after he figured it out, he made sure to tell me about it. He exhaled, smiling sheepishly.
Don't worry about it.
Sorry for complaining. It's not your fault. It's not really his fault either. It's okay. Thanks. I was trying to get somewhere with that. Both my dad and my mom insisted that, since this is he paused, pushing the hair back from his burning face and forced himself to continue. It's a date and a kind of a fancy party. I needed to bring something for you for inviting me. The conclusion of the story caught you by surprise. You blinked, unsure if you'd slacked too much on your own preparations for tonight. You got me a present?
That's,
Not really, just this. Cove reached behind himself to take something out of a back pocket. His hand returned to view with him holding a single small white poppy by the stem. This is so sweet! I can't! No! Crying. Cove threw his gaze to the floor, shyly inching his hand closer to you. This is so nice. This is so nice. This is so... No comment. Cove audibly sighed in relief. You got the impression he had been stressing about the flower he chose. I wasn't positive, though I thought it would be. You didn't need to do this. I'm sorry I didn't get you anything. Thank you. You left the conversation there. You're wonderful. You really didn't have to, but that is very sweet. It's no big deal. I mean, like I said, you're already the one who invited me. I only get to go because of you. Then you accepted the flower from him. Cove straightened himself out in response. So, we're gonna be late if we keep standing here. Right. Well, you better hurry. That was so sweet. I'm still just going over it. Hasn't sinked in yet. Just it hasn't sunk in. You're You return home, Covento. Your moms welcomed you back. You'd expected them to pile you back outside immediately, but their urge was momentarily stifled as they caught sight of the flower clasped in your hand. Thankfully, other than sharing an infuriatingly knowing smile, they took it in stride and didn't say anything. Thank goodness. Thank anything that's good in the world. Yes! Mom's smug look vanished as she caught sight of the clock. Purpose remembered, your mom's whisked you out once more, into the car, and off to your destination. Ooh. You pulled up at the country club. The sun had sunk deep into the horizon, the last of its lights sleepily warming the oncoming night. Your mom's led the way to the space around the back where the event was being held. The place had been transformed through decoration, with smart tablecloths and elegant ribbons contributing to a festive atmosphere. Musicians dressed in matching black and white were setting up their instruments and flicking through pages of sheet music, and as promised, there was a table covered in plates of carefully prepared food. Destination reached, your parents rounded on you and Cove. Things haven't kicked off yet, but don't let that stop you from enjoying yourselves.
Have fun.
We'll be around if you need us.
See you later.
Bye. Bye. Cove waved your moms off. Once they retreated a distance away, you found him watching you expectantly. What now? It wasn't a question, but a plea for help. You could tell he definitely didn't know what to do with himself in this situation. We'll have to wait for some things to start, like the band, but there's stuff going on already. Cove perked up at that.
Really?
Oh, do you want to do any of those? Whatever they are? You introduced Cove to people in the country club, you took a seat to relax, you checked the snacks and ooh, snacks. We could go eat some food now, even if the music hasn't started yet.
Oh?
That's okay? It's not too soon? Yeah, I only like I like these parties because of their free food. I knew to come just for the free food. Yep, I wonder what they'll have this time. No one will mind, really. He nodded. Yep, I wonder what they'll have this time. Let's go find out. Indeed, the two of you wandered over to the refreshment table. With it being early in the night, it had barely been touched, and the plates were nearly as pristine as when they'd left the kitchens. Words. The offerings were all tiny and bite-sized, ready to be picked up and sampled. It was immediately apparent that there was plenty to choose from, which is fun. Just from the level of care with which it was presented, it was clear that this was fancy stuff. Cove stared at one plate, then another, confused.
Maybe?
I think I know some of this. I don't, gross, and only some of it is any good. This is good stuff. Only some of it is good, but that's only because I'm very picky. You examine the table like a detective at a crime scene. That one is so sour your tongue will shrivel up. That looks like chocolate, and it is, mostly. What else is in it? Nasty. Cove's eyes were wide as you guided him through what was on offer. It made you feel sophisticated. Cove squared his shoulders as if gearing up for a match. His stance was familiar from all the times he'd seen him preparing for some sporting event. I'm gonna try it. He picked up a plate and took one appetizer, then another, and another. Soon you realized he was taking one of every single time. That's brave. I could never. Me, with my picking eating habits, I could never. I have to like sort things out first, have to bring a friend along, have the friend try it out, tell me if it's good, tell me what it kind of tastes like so I can get a kind of idea if I would like it or not, and then build up the confidence and then actually try it. He gestured at his mounting plate of food. Why? Why not? Fair enough. You joined him in sampling everything. You picked out only certain options. Yes, because I'm very picky. As much as you liked the food on offer, you knew your own limits and preferences. Yes, I do. Cove nibbled his way through everything the Cypress had. The result of his endeavor were mixed. He was revolted by some of the things he tried, openly screwing up his face and rushing to find a drink to wash the taste away. Yet, these bad experiences didn't stop him from plunging on, moving on to the next snack with an open mind. There were some foods he was neutral about, dismissing them with a shrug, but best of all were his reactions when he stumbled across something good. Each time caught him by surprise, his expression morphing from wary curiosity to skeptical interest before making way for astonished enjoyment. Regardless of how he felt about what he was currently eating, you could tell he was having a good time just being free to eat whatever he laid his eyes on. You were satisfied with the limited selection you had. After going through a round of sampling, You continued munching on the refreshments while waiting for the music. You moved on to something else. Let's do something else. Let's take a seat to relax. We should pick out a table. Okay. You found a place to sit at the edge of the party area where it was quieter with fewer people bustling around. Ace, every time you say you're a picky eater, I'm somehow surprised because even though I know you are picky, I'm still surprised every time. I'm very picky. I'm a very, 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 very picky eater. I've gotten better in like recent years because I used to be really bad. Used to be really, really, really bad. And it's mainly I'll go over really, really quickly. But there's 3 things in general that make me a picky eater, and one. Sometimes it's just taste, especially when something has a very strong taste. It's very overwhelming for me, and then and then I just don't like it because the taste is so strong or overwhelming that I'm just not into it. 2, it's texture. Sometimes the taste is fine, but something in my mouth just doesn't feel right, and it makes me want to gag. And it's not because it's bad, it's just me being weird. And number 3, sometimes I put too much of something in my mouth, and even it could be my favorite thing in the entire world, but the amount of food in my mouth makes me want to gag as well. So I just have a very love-hate relationship with food. What's my favorite food? Okay, I have 2. Just any, like, paella rice, but the traditional one's really good, and then the stuff that isn't technically considered paellas, but are, like, separate categories of, so, like, the one that's from, like, the fish, like, ones, I'm very bad at translating them, and then, those are good. The black rice is also really good, the one that's made with, like, squid ink, and then the traditional is also really good. I like all of them. And then I also like certain types of pasta. There's types of pasta that I like more. I like gnocchis a lot. I like them. I like how not fluffy, but you get what I mean. The texture is nice. I like the texture of gnocchis more than other types of pasta. They're very soft. That's what I meant to say. Not fluffy. What the hell am I saying? And then I'm trying to think of something else. I like other stuff. But those are the first 2 things that have come to my head because I've had them recently. And I immediately remember how much I like them. Do you ever get tested for autism? Not really, no. It's because of the texture thing, I'm guessing? Maybe? That's the first thing I could relate it to when I said it out loud. But yeah, I've always just been really picky. I've started slowly getting better. It's not great, but it's not as terrible as it used to be. It used to be awful. My eating habits sucked because I couldn't push myself to eat other stuff because I was just scared to my reaction to them. It just felt really unpleasant. There was moments in my life where lunch was like my least favorite part of the day. I hated it. There was nothing that I hated more in my life than getting invited out to eat because my first immediate thought was, what am I gonna do? And that sucks. That's awful. That's terrible. So I've pushed myself a little bit. I'm slowly getting better. It's still a big of a struggle, but hey, you know. I'm very aware of it, and I know that the amount of food, the texture of the food, or sometimes just the taste of the food, those 3 are the main concerns, and everything that I don't quote unquote like or I'm not used to falls into those categories until I either grow used to it or realize that I genuinely just don't like it, as in a preference kind of thing, and not just because I'm being extremely picky and I'm just being like, no, it just feels wrong. It's just no. So with that, you pulled out a chair and sat down. Cove, already seated, was stretching. These clothes are kind of uncomfortable. He flexed an arm at the elbow, frowning before twisting it back behind him. Yeah?
Aww.
My arms can't move the same as normal, like I'm gonna rip it if I do anything. It's a very important question. What type of spoon do you prefer? What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm confused by this question. Is it the size or the material of the spoon? I like metal spoons, and it depends on what I'm eating. I like small spoons generally. For like, I like smallish spoons generally. Big spoons are just no good. I can never eat a mouthful of a big spoon, like just a like dining spoon. Can't do that. So I like medium or small spoons. So that's a thing. I like small spoons a lot. I like eating cereal with small spoons. I love eating cereal with small spoons. I cannot stress this enough. Cereal with small spoons is superior. Speaking of cereal, I had Fruit Loops this morning, and I was so excited about it. I haven't had Fruit Loops in a very long time. I forgot how much I liked Fruit Loops until this morning where I had them again, and I was like, oh my god, Fruit Loops. I forgot. I mind it. Yeah, it's the worst. I think it's you. Sure. Compliment. When all fails, compliment. When you can't relate, compliment. Cereal in the perfect small spoon. I agree. It is so good. Cereal with small spoons. Not like tiny spoons, but like a small spoon. Not like not like quote unquote normal size spoon, like a big spoon. Just a small spoon used to eat cereal is superior in any shape, way, or form. I love it so much. So good. Incredible. Really? Okay. Thanks. He turned with one cuff of his shirt, wedging a finger between the fabric and his skin. Now that you had a spot of your own, you stayed chatting with Cobb at the table, you moved on to something else. Let's chat. Oh, okay. In no time at all, the sun set in full, the lights faded in, and the opening notes of the band's first song rang out. You and Cobb stopped what you were doing, turning to contemplate the party that had been steadily unfurling while you were distracted. It was much busier now, both in terms of people and activity. The first steps were taking onto the dance floor, some tentative, others eager, and even if the band hadn't been playing, the constant level of chatter would have ensured that it wasn't a quiet night. With the party now in full swing, your options had increased. Like the small ones that, why make the other one pretty too? My mom gave me a bucket spoon once while eating with a small one. Oh. I only like big spoons, like soup spoons for everything, soup spoon for everything from ice cream to soup. For some reason, even though sensory-wise it fucks with my head. I like the opposite. I use a medium-sized spoon. We have 3 size spoons in my little drawer. We have the usual soup spoon. We have a very tiny spoon, and then we have a medium-sized spoon, which is a slightly larger than the tiny spoon. I love using that medium-sized spoon for everything. Ice cream, cereal, soups, just everything. I love using it. It's the perfect size. It's not small enough where it's annoying, but it's not so big that it's also annoying. Because again, the whole other issue of having too much food in my mouth also makes me just incredibly it just feels bad. When I say a lot of food, I don't mean I'm stuffing my face full. I just mean a normal size bite, or a slightly larger than the normal size bite is incredibly just no, please no. Now let me see my party options. You went to see what your moms were up to, you watched the band perform, you asked who to dance. Well, one of these options is a lot more appealing than the other two. Where's my chat plus through to scroll? Don't do that. There we go. I said that I left everything on, I left all caution behind. So yes. Spoons are evil. Fair enough. So would you like to dance maybe? Hey, come, let's dance. Can I have a pleasure company on the dance floor? Come on, it's time to dance. I'd like to dance with you, if that's okay. First one. No, the third one's smooth. Really? Yes! He blurted the words out without really thinking, then clamped a hand over his mouth before anything else could slip out. You nodded, hoping that he would accept. Gum sucked in a deep breath as if trying to inhale confidence as well as oxygen into his lungs, oxygen in your lungs, good thing. He gave a single serious nod before holding a trembling hand out towards you. You felt confident, you felt nervous right along with them. Feeling nervous, but all caution's been thrown out the window, but still nervous. Taking a steadying breath, you reminded yourself that nothing here could hurt you, physically at any rate. Yeah, not gonna die. Everything's good. This train of thought was leading you down tunnels of potential embarrassment, so you try to keep your mind on the moment. Everything's fine. You took Cove's outstretched hand. His skin was hot and damp, but yours was probably no better. You squeezed it, giving him an empathetic smile, and together you carefully made your way onto the dance floor. Wholesome. You took your places standing before each other, hands still entwined. Frowning, Cove assessed the situation, trying to puzzle it out like a math problem before putting his remaining free hand on your shoulder. You repositioned his hand to your waist. You were happy with that. I said I'd throw all caution out the window, but this... But I'm trying to guess. While drinking water and procrastinating. I know I got really silent. I'm sorry. I know I should be giving my out loud thoughts. But my thoughts are mostly just not coherent. Like, not just... It's a lot of white noise. It's like I'm thinking, but I'm not thinking. You know? That. Both of these options are really good. Because I think I could kind of see where everything's going. But, with like both. But, screw it. Gonna do it. Gently, you took his hand from your shoulder and moved it lower down for the dance. His eyes shook at the touch. From how tense his arm was, you knew Cove was fighting the urge to pull away. But ultimately, he smiled shyly at you and his grip on your other hand tightened. Success. Cove towered over you. You'd long been aware of your height differences, but readying yourselves to dance have brought them to the forefront once more. Yay! Being small. Yeah. But once again, my height gets brought up. Cove awkwardly glanced down at you from the corner of his eyes, looking almost apologetic. No, it's fine. I'm short. Lived all my life as it, and I've just kind of come to terms with it at this point. Short. Yay. I'm short. Music had begun. You both moved, eagerly trying to catch up to it, but your feet took you in opposite directions. Fair enough. True. Real. Bumbling, the two of you shuffled from side to side, attempting to mirror each other's movements, but always winding up at odds. Fair. Honestly, accurate. It was difficult. Cove was struggling just coordinating his own limbs to the rhythm, let alone matching your movements. It is hard to dance. Dancing is not easy. When Cove's foot ghosted over yours, it was decided it'd be safest for everyone if you simply swayed to the tune. You rooted yourself to the floor, your torso gently moving to the sounds. Fair. Gratefully, Cove kept his movements small and subtle in the same way. You were distinctly aware that almost all the other dancing couples were men paired with women, unlike you and Cove. It didn't bother you. Literally could not care less. This was a welcoming environment. Your two moms wouldn't be members otherwise. Exactly. Case in point. Your two moms wouldn't be members otherwise. Not being the majority didn't mean there was any problem with it. Your confidence spilled over onto Cove. He tried to be less timid in his demeanor. Though it didn't improve his dancing, it didn't make it worse, and you hoped that it meant he was having a better time. We can't dance, but we're having a good time anyway. Success. All was fine for a little while. You weren't going to win any dancing accolades with Cove, but that didn't matter when you were just treasuring just being so close to him. Cove stepped out of sync with the music, knocking against you. He flinched back, nearly pulling you over in the process. You took a hand from him and helped it up, halting proceedings so you could both get your bearings once more. Words, yes. We should have stuck to the hokey pokey. It's okay, dancing is harder than I thought. I'm signing you up for dancing lessons. He quietly took a break. Dancing is harder than I thought. Instead of feeling better over the mutual struggle, Cove looked off. Yeah. Then you took Cove's hand once more and gingerly resumed swaying to the music. Cove reluctantly followed suit, his steps small and apprehensive. He mumbled something quietly. This is a long song. You weren't sure how to take that, whether it meant that something just bounced on my computer screen. What are you screaming at me for? That caught me so off guard. You weren't sure how to take that, whether it meant that something was wrong or if Cove didn't really like dancing, or if he didn't like dancing with you specifically. It made the last couple of minutes of the song uncomfortable as he waited up what to do and what to say to Cove. When the musician laid their instruments down, Cove dropped your hands as if they were burning him. He trailed off it was updates ready to install. I'm not installing updates now, shut up. When the musicians laid their instruments down, Cove dropped your hands as if they were burning him. He trailed off the dance floor as quickly as he could without breaking into an outright run. In truth, you'd bet even that was faster than most people here could manage. You had difficulty trailing behind him before he could get lost in the crowd. When you caught up, he said nothing. You tried to get him into doing something else, but eliciting anything from him was now impossible. You focused over Cove, wondering how he was finding the evening. He sighed. It was so quiet and unobtrusive that you wouldn't have caught it if you hadn't been watching him. Words, sentences. Why am I struggling so much? Hold the phone. His gaze was roaming. With how far away his eyes seemed, whatever he was searching for couldn't be found at this party. He turned to face you before you could say anything. Want to sit down? Then we can go sit down. We can do that. Cove began to move, and you instinctively followed him. Yet instead of taking a seat at one of the many free tables as you had expected, Cove ignored them as he purposely strode out of the party area. Cove? Your call didn't seem to register with him as he continued forward out onto the greens of the golf course. You went after him, trying to watch out for the uneven ground underfoot. The clods of earth dislodging in games of golf were perfect for snatching unwary feet even in daylight. Up ahead, Cove didn't appear to have any difficulty traversing the uneven land. There we go, transition. He settled down on one of the little hills of the golf course. You joined him, still unsure over what was going on. Are you alright? And why are we here? What's wrong? Why'd you drag us out of there? Look at us breaking the rules. You didn't say anything. What's wrong? Cove started as if he'd acted on instinct and your question had brought him around to reality again.
Sorry.
It's fine. I'm panicking because Queen's just going no in the chat. And I'm so concerned. It's okay. You can go back to the party. You didn't budge from your spot. From here, the party was just a glowing haze in the distance. You didn't want to leave him behind. You were glad to take a break. You didn't want to leave him behind. You shook your head. I don't want to go without you, and not unless you want to. Oh, thanks. Now that Cove was more at ease, he tried to find out what had caused him to take flight in the first place. Even thinking the words pained you, but you had to know the answer. Did going to the party with me make you uncomfortable? Logically, you knew that the issue was likely the activity rather than your company. Your heart strained with the worry that you had been at fault, though. Was it because I made you dance? His abrupt departure from that was another indicator that something had gone awry.
What?
Okay. He shook his head empathetically. It's not anything I did tonight. It's definitely not anything you did either. Relief overcame you. You'd expected as much, but with this being your very first date, it was hard to be sure. Cove attempted to fill in the gaps of understanding. I don't want to think about going back into the party. I just feel ready to go home. To your own planet, don't try running that far. You kept quiet. I'm sorry you're not having fun anymore. Should I get my mom's? I'm sorry you're not having fun anymore. Cove stared off as his words felt just as distant. It's okay. Cove sat there quietly, gazing out into the shadowy hills and valleys of the golf course. A comfortably warm wind rustled between you, tussling his hair. It was so far away from the hubbub of the words. Yep. The hubbub of the party. You could even make out the quiet sound of crickets chirping. This is kind of how we first met. Do you remember? Yeah, of course I do. How could I forget? No. Just no. Of course I do. You'd liked him from that very first day. So weird. That was a long time ago now. You thought back to the day when Cove first arrived in the neighborhood. He had run away from Mr. Holden, taking solace in the hills behind your house. That had been late, too, on a clear night like today. Looking at the sky, you wondered if the stars that were looking down were the same ones as then. That's a really nice line. Cove's face was brighter, though you could still see the signs of the strain that had caused him to depart from the soiree. When he first sat down, he had curled up like a pill bug, hunched over, knees pressed to his chest and arms wrapped around them. He'd unwound as you'd been talking, straightening up, his hands free to gesticulate. It was as though the two of you had constructed your own little world away from everything else, and he was beginning to perk up. The small smile that had crept onto his face was quickly ushered away by a frown. I can't believe I'm on a date. Cove followed up the statement before you could react. He spoke in a distinct whispered tone, as though you were the only one in the world who he could share these words with. After I said I wanted to come, I wanted to take it back. Not because I really didn't want to do it, because, I don't know. It seemed like a big deal. It made me feel bad somehow. I started feeling like I couldn't do it, even though I just wanted to do it. I guess it was sort of like having to give a presentation in front of the class, even though it was just me and you doing something like we always do. He charged on, his words streaming out. I still could do it because thinking about not being there and and what you might think if I did take it back made me feel way worse than whatever else I felt.
I'm sorry.
My heart. I'm sorry I just can't deal with stuff like this and have to make everything so complicated. You don't need to apologize. You sadly hung your head. I'm sorry it made you feel bad. I don't want you to be here if you don't want to be here. You smiled at him. You didn't have to come. You could have told me. He doesn't need to apologize, no. You then took his hand. You then placed a hand on his shoulder. You then leaned against him. You then ruffled his hair. You opened your butter. Lean. It always made you feel secure to lean against Cove, having him support you in the most literal of senses. Maybe he felt the same way. He finally moved his head to look you straight on, eyes meeting yours.
Ace.
Thanks for reminding me, Ace. You stared back at him, not comprehending. But didn't it make you feel bad?
Yeah.
It did, when I had to think about how I was actually doing it. But getting to hear that you wanted me to come made me feel good. He flushed and had to break the fragile eye contact made. I want to keep doing things with you, no matter what, even if I feel weird sometimes. I don't want to stop being there. I don't want you to stop wanting me there. Because when I do whatever it is for real and you're with me, it all feels better in the end. It always does. My heart. I'm getting really... God. Never mind. It's fine. It's all good. We're all good. It's just... this game. Cove stood up without warning. Support gone, you threw out an arm to catch yourself from toppling over. At that point, you didn't have much choice but to join him on your feet. What was that? Hey, give me a warning next time. What's up? You tilted your head in an unspoken question. Cove smiled awkwardly, brushing some grass off the side of his pants.
Wanna dance with me?
I've stopped. No, I can't. Mm-mm. Why am I crying? Stop. I got really emotional all of a sudden. I'm just laughing because I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. Just gonna keep reading. It's fine. We're good. It just... your eyes widened involuntarily. You were not expecting that after what happened earlier. The reaction didn't escape notice. It's a dance party, right? And I think... He trailed off, burrowed as if he was trying to figure out the answer himself. Nodding slowly, he continued. I think I want to dance with you again, before it's over. With the only words he had to explain gone, he just held up his hand to you. His expression was soft. so sweet. I can't. I really can't. I really can't. Then you reached for his hand and took it in yours. You returned hand in hand with the party reaching the end of a long evening. Dancing couples had become scarce. One pair among many were hard to notice, but now the space around you would act as a spotlight, now that there were many left to watch you. He was still at ease, even oiled by the dissipated crowd. This time there was a spring in his step as he walked into the dance floor together. Gove kept hold of your hand you had given him back on the little hill. Remembering your earlier attempt at dancing, he placed his free hand on your waist all on his own, though still with a touch of trepidation. Gove hesitated while you waited for a sign. With the song in progress before you stepped out to dance, there was no signal for the right moment to begin. The same thought occurred to Gove, who shrugged his shoulders with keeping form. Taking that as your starting point, you cautiously began to sway. Gove readily followed your example. You danced wordlessly, dimly aware of the music guiding you. You were more focused on Gove, whose attention was firmly fastened on you. Unlike before, when he had nervously looked down at his feet as if trying to keep them in check, his eyes were steady. I know I'm not saying anything and I'm just reading, but it's just... It's really bad to say I don't know what to say, but I really just don't. I'm just sitting here I'm letting it just wash over me. I'm just experiencing it now. The moment where I start getting emotional is the moment where everything is just happening and it's just sinking. And such a good game, it really is. Why am I so emotional? He didn't even allow himself to be shaken when your knees knocked against each other and you both briefly fumbled your steps. Instead, he chuckled, and it was as soft as the roll of the morning tide. His lips curved into a shy crescent. You had been drifting into a dreamlike state, but that expression, one that you'd never seen before, pinned you back to reality. Your heart was caught in a clinch, held tight and yet straining with the effort of thumping harder than it had after any amount of physical exertion. As if in response, his hand began to hold yours with increased strength. He pulled you ever so slightly more towards him. Thoughts about what it meant or what might happen when it was over eased, and the both of you were able to simply have this dance. Time fell away as you took in the small moment. All too soon, the song reached its conclusion. You could have continued quite contentedly for some time. That just... wow. This is such a simple line, but I'm gonna explain why I'm so affected by it, because I just started crying again. I had teared up before, and I just teared up hard now. Because before, when they were awkwardly dancing, it was talking about how they were talking about how the song was so long, and how it just wouldn't end. And then the contrast between all too soon, and then the fact that they just could have continued for longer hit me so hard because of the difference between the moment before and the moment now, and I'm just so incredibly emotional over it. To the point where I'm just genuinely crying now, and I'm not entirely sure why. Even though I just explained why, but I'm not sure why it's hitting me so hard as it is. Oh my god. Let's keep going, because I'm really enjoying myself, and this game is so good. I know I say it so much, but I can never say it enough because this game is so good. I've sung its praises loud and proudly many times, and it's time that I do so again, because it just got me in a very simple way. It just got me. Taking a sip of water. You stilled one hand of yours in his. Gove showed no sign of moving either. It was hard to let go. You heard your name called out, and that brought the dance truly to an end. You both spun to find Mom yelling for you and Gove. Beside her, Ma was shaking her head.
Sorry.
It's time to go home, Lenny. I had to get a hold of them somehow. What did you want me to do? Sneak up on them? Her chosen method was admittedly better than that. You still winced at how dazed you'd been when she'd announced her arrival. Cove looked so embarrassed that you seriously worried about him fleeing again. This time, you didn't think he'd stop until he was out of the grounds. Despite Cove's reaction to the scene with your moms, to you, it had been a perfect ending to the evening. You were so glad you got a chance to dance with Cove once more before the night was over. And it definitely was over now. You didn't need to say anything to Cove. The two of you marched wordlessly over to your parents, who were still bickering playfully. Standing shoulder to shoulder, your parents surveyed you and Cove. You wondered if they were checking that they were returning Mr. Holden's son in the same state that he'd left the house.
So?
That was quite a night, huh, gang? Wasn't it just? Cove managed a self-conscious smile. Yeah. Ma was smiling too, with an expression so soft it could have cradled a newborn chick.
Well?
And how was your very first date? Please don't start on them already. It technically hasn't even ended yet. Fine. Good. Well, we'd better ready ourselves to get back to Elizabeth. If we're lucky, the house might still be standing.
Pam.
Oh, shush. She swatted your mom playfully, laughing at the comment. You cast one last look at the party. You saw people exchanging farewells and suppressing yawns. Most of the faces were happy ones, despite the weariness that was starting to creep in. Gove's head was angled away from you. As you watched, wondering what he was looking at, he came around and met your gaze. It was strange. Though it had only been a few hours of your life, you felt a little older as a result of attending the party. It was like a step away from the world of your childhood, where dressing up is as reserved almost exclusively as a form of play, towards something new that you hadn't yet grasped. Turning away from the final moments of the party, you shelved that thought for another time as your moms eagerly led the way back to the car. As you and Cove tailed after them, you felt childlike once more. What can I even say to that at this point? I feel like I've already said everything or expressed in my just wordlessness, my just speechlessness at it. Everything I thought about. I feel like such a bad review. I'm so bad at speaking my mind after I'm like finished with something. I'm so bad because it's just, again, it's that same thing where I'm thinking so many things, but I'm at the same time not thinking anything. It's like nothing's coherent, but it all is. I don't know how to make sense of my own thoughts. This is what I'm basically saying. But, that was lovely. That was lovely. Oh. It was that line. It was the all too soon line. It just, I'm gonna have to, once I'm like doing the timestamps for YouTube and stuff, I'm gonna have to rewatch that little moment there, because I'm pretty sure I was reading it, cut myself off, just put my head in my hands. Because it just teared up hard. It just went, feelings. We've been almost 2 hours on this one alone, but we're doing road trip. We're at least, we're finishing this, we're finishing the moment selects. We're finishing this off. I don't care how long it takes. We're doing road trip. Because I also remember road trip pretty fondly, so. This is such a good one. This is such a good one. Sorry, Ray was awesome. I remember it so fondly. I'm just trying to, like, put myself back in a, like, neutral, almost, like, neutral kind of state to, like, actually click and get started. I'm just gonna click it and get started anyway. But, like, it's just such in a different mindset now after that. Oh my god. You might think I'm being very dramatic, but no, genuinely. I'm just very dramatic in general. But not exaggerating anything. This is just genuinely how I'm feeling overall. If I am very dramatic, it is just because that is just genuinely how I am. Just very, very dramatic all the time. No matter how small anything is. Alright, this game is so good, but also like so many emotions. Yeah, I just got, woo! But like, not expecting to tear up today. Twice, and once very, very heavily. To the point where I was kind of crying. Not full on crying, but tiny crying. But small cry. Tiny cry. I'm very emotional. It's normal for me to cry at things. Again, I'm very dramatic, just in general. So yes, I cried the simplest of things. So me crying at this game, it is not a shock. It is not a shock at all. Even though you were awake, the sun had barely peeked its head above the horizon, and the sky above was still dark, though lightening by the minute. Usually, you wouldn't be up so early, especially during summer vacation, but today was different. Tears were had. It was lovely. What me miss? Very wholesome dance scene. Very wholesome dance that hit me like a truck. It just got so many feelings about it. That's what you missed. Very wholesome, very sweet dance scene that hit me. One specific line that really, really hit me. Because I just correlated and went, oh my god. And just then my emotions just went, oh. Today, instead of the lazy days you were used to, everything around you was a flurry of activity as both your family and Coves prepared for what lay ahead. Because parked in the street just outside your house was a massive RV camper. I've always kind of wanted to do a road trip on an RV. I feel like it would be a lot of fun. I don't know why, but like a caravan RV kind of thing. I've done road trips before, but doing a road trip on like that kind of thing, I feel like it would be a lot of fun. Road trips are fun anyway, but I feel like it would be a lot of fun like that. It would add like an extra layer to it. I don't know. That's like some point in my life I would like to. I feel like it would be fun. I've said fun like 5 million times in that like explanation, but you get it. It's fine. That was a massive RV camper, so big you couldn't even see Cove's house behind it. His parents had rented the RV for a few days to take him on a short road trip to see the Redwood National Park. You glanced at Cove, who was standing nearby, taking in the scene in front of him. The prospect of the trip had to be a mixed bag for him, but it was only 3 days, so it seemed he was dealing with it as best he could, especially now that you and your family were joining them. Again, must be a big IRB. Forget stealing the Mona Lisa, rent an RV and travel as community meetup and sit with each other for 1 week. Be a long road trip, but it would be fun. It would be a long road trip. Expensive to renting that RV because it would be for a while, but it would be a lot of fun. You weren't sure how exactly it had happened. You knew your parents and Cove spoke to each other often, and somewhere along the way, plans were made after Cliff offered to share the space. The parents all thought it was a fantastic idea. You had already gotten a good look inside while helping to load everything in, and you had to admit that while it was a really big car, fitting that many people inside was going to be snug.
Let's go.
Move it or lose it, kiddo. Mom bustled past with a cooler in one hand and a large bottle of water under the other. She was upbeat for this early in the morning. Ma, however, seemed to be on the other side of the wavelength. She followed behind her wife, dragging her feet on every step. I'm gonna need a whole jug of coffee once we hit the road. You could relate to Ma. It was way too early. Personally, you were swearing to go as your mom. You felt like you were in the middle ground. I'm not usually very hyped with having to wake up early, but I won't complain about it too much. Like, the moment I wake up is the bad moment, but once I stay up, I stand up from bed, get changed and stuff, I lose the drowsiness very quickly. So I wouldn't be like, yes, waking up at 4 a.m. is so fun. But I'd also, or like super upbeat in general. But I'd be like okay with it. I'd be just neutral ground. Just not incredibly upbeat, but not drowsy. Because again, I lose that drowsiness very quickly. It's like the moment I wake up. It's like the moments where drowsiness hits when I'm just laying down. And then I get up, and then I'm drowsy for a bit, change, do whatever, wash my face, stuff, and then it's like, it starts leaving. You just tried to keep up and took in some deep breaths. The air was still a little damp from dew, but you didn't mind it. And then, at the end of the chain, came your sister. She had a bone to pick before the trip officially started. Her rattling off critiques added some level of normalcy to everything new going on.
Ugh.
I don't get why I can't sleep in the bed tonight. Ace is the youngest, and I'll never fall asleep in that loft. We're trying to make things fair on everyone. If you want to play the older card, you should be offering to take the loft both nights. It's important for big siblings to make sacrifices for their younger ones. Would never know. I'm the youngest, so who knows? Maybe. Elizabeth huffed, not happy with the answer in the slightest, and folded her arms, leaning back against the side of the RP. The trip plans had been nailed down prior, the sleeping arrangements included. Elizabeth still held on to her objections with them. There was a main area of the RV with a couch, loft, and some floor space. At the end of the car was a room with a large bed. Your moms were sharing the bed, Kira was on the couch, and father and son intended to sleep on the floor. The adults determined you and Elizabeth would switch between the small loft above the driver's seat and sharing the bed with moms. You were fine with the arrangements. You were excited to sleep in a loft. You felt sharing the bed with your parents was going to be awkward. You were looking forward to sleeping to a sleepover with your moms. You weren't too happy either, but didn't make a fuss. You thought it was unfair that Cove had to sleep on the floor. I guess it's okay. I mean, it is unfair, but like, someone's gonna have to do it anyway. And if two people have to, I guess you could get sleeping bags, but at the same time, it's like I'm like trying to remember how this went, and it says I remember some parts. There's one part I specifically remember. As long as you had a place to rest your head of some description, it didn't really bother you. Alright, you lot, does everyone have everything they needed? We're heading out in 5 minutes. Now's the time to double check. You don't want to forget something important. After the word, Elizabeth yelped and dashed back into the house. Her bedhead hair bouncing behind her as she went. Words, head, brain, please. Oh my god. Ma came over and gave you a smile, settling her hands on her hips. How about you, Ace? Do you have all your clothes packed, toiletries, deodorant, floss, anything else you could think of? You were confident you had it all. You weren't sure about that. Oh, you had to run back inside for something. You just give her a flat look. Most of the time, when I travel, I triple check everything. Because I'm very paranoid of leaving stuff behind. So I would like to think I'm confident that I have it all. I would probably double think for a minute, but I'm pretty confident I would have it all. Wanting to make sure everything was organized and ready to go, you had to pack the night before and set your alarm too. That's true, I do that. I'm always alarm ready because I'm paranoid of sleeping in, and I do pack the night before, or even before the night before, start gathering things together so you know. And the only things you're gonna pack the morning of is toothbrush and hairbrush and stuff like that you need to use in the morning as well. And then you pack that, and that way you keep it all together the night before so that you quickly have everything in sight, you quickly use it, put it away, and then that way you would know. Spork. Spork is a funny word. It's also fun to say. I just like saying spork. It's unfair. Go should be sleeping on his own. I mean on the floor. My thoughts exactly. Sometimes floors are comfy. I guess so. That's true. But still. Yep, I'm good. That's great. We'll have to wait for the ones who weren't as organized, but we'll be heading off shortly. I like Ma's robe. Fluffy robe thing. It's very cute. And it also looks very comfy. Can it get cold enough so I can use my fluffy robe? That would be awesome. Can winter get here so I can use my fluffy robe and my onesie? I want that. And wear hoodies inside the house? I can't stress this enough. Wearing hoodies inside the house is so wonderful. I want to wear hoodies. I want hoodies. I love hoodies. They're so comfy. Without a few minutes left to spare before leaving, you mentally went over what you had packed for the trip. Clothes, a pillow, and a blanket. Usual day-to-day gear for most people. You also had more personal things such as portable gaming console, pencils of paper, your favorite stuffed animal, a couple things to read, a bag of makeup, a ball, your camera, an MP3 player with... That's right! It Again, every time this game, remember something that has happened before. It is like the bare minimum that a game can do. Remember something that happens before. That's programmed to do such a thing. But every time it happens, I just get really excited about it again. Because it's like, oh my god! It's like it's not like I forget it happened, but I hadn't had it in like the front of my head. And then I just get reminded. It's wonderful. Why am I so excited? I just realized my intonation and I'm like so hyped up now. I just gotta bounce. Yes, absolutely. You wanted to have something comfortable and special to wear on a trip like this, and you wanted Cove to know you were still using it. MP3 player with headphones, very important. With so much time going to be spent driving in a car, you wanted to make sure you'd be able to have some music to put on. Very true. Very important. Music must. Headphones must. A couple things to read. Reading Six of Crows at the moment. Haven't made much progress because I've been focused on other things, but I'm planning on, I have a, day kind of free, and I'm planning on doing some reading tomorrow because I want to make more progress on it because I'm enjoying it. So, yeah, reading Six of Crows at the moment. You had packed one of your old favorites and a new one you'd never tried before. You knew you'd have plenty of time for them both on such a long drive. Portable gaming console sounds good. The drive to the Redwood National Park would take an entire day one way, so you wanted to make sure you had a way to entertain yourself while traveling there and back. And I'm taking up pencils and paper. You had to be prepared in case you saw something to sketch at the park, or if you had to write anything down, or if you needed to pass time just by doodling. I was thinking because of the doodling. I'm just thinking that sometimes I just get bored while I'm listening to music. I can't listen to music and just listen to music, but I feel like most people are like that. Unless there's someone that could just sit still and listen to music, which seems insane to me in my head. It just seems not possible. You have to be doing something. It's not like watching something where I get that some people can just sit there and watch it. I know I can't, but I know that there's people that can just sit down and watch like a movie or a show. But like music, you're not, where are your eyes? What are you doing? So you have to like do something. So usually I listen to music, and if I have nothing to do, I'll just doodle while I'm listening to music. So yes. And a camera to take pictures. It was just a little pocket camera you had gotten from your mom's, but you could have missed the opportunity to take some new snaps. And that's about it. Hey, let me take that for you, Ace. I'll stow it in the RB. If there's a few spots left, it'll fit. You let Kira take your bag and gave her a grateful smile. With nothing left to do, you watched the others getting ready for the trip. Kira and Cliff seemed to have the most energy of anyone. They were finishing packing the suitcase away while your moms had gone to lock up the house. They high-fived whenever another one got crammed into the storage compartments of the vehicle. Playing Tetris with luggage? Yeah, highlights of trips. Even though your own parents were more low-key than Cove's, you could tell that they were both excited for the trip. It had been a while since your family had been away anywhere together. Elizabeth skipped towards the RB, a bag slung over her shoulder, and you were surprised to see she seemed more optimistic about the whole ordeal now. Usually, she wasn't one to exit the confines of her room unless it was for TV or food or to leave her family behind to be with friends. You would have thought 3 whole days packed in an RB with 6 others would be too much for her, but it was a nice surprise. You suppose any vacation was better than no vacation in her mind. Cove had been pretty quiet so far, and more than anything, seemed to be overwhelmed by the situation. You were excited for the trip too. You weren't very excited for the trip either. You were eager to get to the destination. You were curious about the RB. You didn't feel much either way about the plans. Let's be excited. Trips are fun. It was great to get away and explore new places. Exactly. Soon, the miscellaneous remaining tasks had all been wrapped up. Ooh, fancy RB. Everyone piled into the RB. It was officially time for the trip to start. And it did! Cliff took the first shift driving. He cautiously navigated the massive car of the narrow neighborhood streets. It was touch and go for the first part of the journey. Your moms and Kira were all huddled at the front, trying to get a view of how much space they had on each side. There was a sense of relief when the first long leg of the trip was hit, and the RB would only need to go down one stretch of highway for miles. The mom group cleared out of the driver's area, leaving Cove's dad to it, taking more comfortable seats around the main cabin. You felt like you could finally relax now, too. Time slipped by as morning faded away. Before you realized it, the engine of the RB came to a stop, but only halted for a few moments as Cliff climbed out of the driver's seat and Mom took over. Ma was sitting shotgun, giving Mom a quick tutorial on the controls as if it was her first time driving anything this large. Cliff groaned as he headed towards the rest of you, stretching his arms above his head and loosening up his muscles. We're making good progress. What's your favorite Blue Sky Animations movie? I'm thinking of one now, but I need to double check if it is Blue Sky. I'm pretty sure it is, but I'm thinking I need to check because I don't want to be stupid. I'm thinking of one now, but I need to double check. Yes, Rio. I like Rio. I like Rio a lot. I just needed to remind myself that it was from Blue Sky. I was pretty sure it was Blue Sky, but I just needed to double check to not be stupid. Rio, I like Rio a lot. Rio's really good. I don't know what it was about the Bird movie, but I really like the Bird movie. I like Rio a ton. Haven't watched Rio in a while. Probably should watch Rio. I was watching one of the Tinkerbell movies last night. I was watching Pirate Fairy last night because I got reminded of its existence and went, I want to watch it. And I want to watch a Tinkerbell movie, and so I did, and I sat down and watched, well, I didn't sit down, I was laid down, because it was night, watching, Pirate Fairy. I have all the Rio DVDs. I think I have the two. I also have the DS game. I have a Rio DS game. I can barely remember what you do in it. I'd have to play it and find out. I can do that and report back at some point. But I know I have it because I pulled out my DS a couple of times and I've noticed it's there. So I could play the Rio game and then report back and tell you what it actually was because I can't remember. I remember Blue running. I remember that. So I think it was like a run and jump kind of thing. I don't know what it was. I'd have to play it, find out, and then I could report back. But, yeah. Again, never had a DS in my life. I had a 2DS. Like a dark pinkish kind of reddish color. Still have it. Still use it every so often when I'm feeling very particularly nostalgic and want to do something fun. Play the game on stream. I'd have to find out how I could show my DS. But I could do that. I could play random DS games. I have a lot of random DS games. I have a Frozen one. I have Mario Kart on the DS. I have Mario Party on the DS. I have a Bet one. I have Nintendo Dogs, obviously, because that was the staple classic of the DS game. I have a Club Penguin one. Obviously, you've heard how passionate I was and still kind of am about Club Penguin. I, of course, had the Club Penguin DS game. The one of the two. The other one apparently was not that good, so I'm glad I got the one that I have. So, yeah, it was the EPF one. The first one, not the second one. Apparently the second one was just kind of a rehash. Like, most of the missions were just a rehash from the browser missions. So you just paid a bunch of money for, like, half of the game to be the ones you could play on the browser. So, yeah, that exists. The other thing that I kind of been thinking about doing on stream, because I just thought about it because I said Club Penguin and then I remembered. You know how they remade the Disney Fairies one, the Pixie Hollow one? Someone remade it, and then they also have remade Club Penguin. I was thinking about just making an account and doing it. I just play that because I think it would be funny. Honestly, I think it would be funny and also just incredibly nostalgic, especially the Tinkerbell one. Club Penguin is still very fresh in my mind. I think about it way too often for something that ended so long ago at this point. But, well, quote unquote so long ago, but like, especially since I've picked it up. But, But the Disney Fairy one, the Tinkerbell one, I have big memories of it. And I saw it on TikTok that someone had remade it, and I was like, I have to check it out. I have big memories of it. Somewhere in my head, I remember playing it. It's just somewhere. totally do that as well. And Club Penguin, mostly for mission stuff. I remember liking the Halloween parties a lot, and liking the Secret Agent stuff a lot. The Secret Agent stuff was cool. I felt so cool as a kid during the Secret Agent stuff in Club Penguin. It was the moment. I felt incredible. So much plot. I felt like the main character. It made me feel so cool. It's like, damn. And Cardjitsu, because it was fun and I enjoyed it. And sled racing, and the dancing minigame, and the fishing one. I was so good at the fishing one. That was a rant. I'm gonna find out if I can mirror my DS to my computer somehow, either by cable or something. There's probably a way. I'll Google and try to find out. And if I can figure it out, then we could just do a stream playing the DS games I have. It's just... Maybe you should take a nap in the back for a while. That was a long call you just did, and I know you're on less sleep than usual. Cliff waved a hand, that trademark grin of his slipping into place.
Nah.
I don't need sleep. I've still got a few miles in the old tank. He flexed an arm, showing off his muscles to drive the point about how resilient he was home. And Kira rolled her eyes in amusement. Dad, everyone has to sleep. Words, sentences, yes. I don't even know how I confused that. Cliff shook his head at the tough guy act, though Cliff simply chuckled and ruffled his son's hair.
So?
Are you gonna be driving again anytime soon, Mr. Holden? I want to know so I can prepare. Did anyone pack some rope? I might need it. There's no seatbelts up here. Elizabeth called down from where she was lounging in the loft above the driving compartment. She was laying on her back, her hair falling over the side and swinging around as the RB started up again and took off down the road. A bag of potato chips was balanced on Elizabeth's stomach as she tossed a couple in her mouth right as Cliff held a hand to his chest, pretending to be offended by the remark. Kira laughed lightheartedly.
Don't worry about that.
Luckily for all of us, we have enough adults to cover the shifts today. He won't be driving again until tomorrow. You stayed quiet, you shook your head at the riveting view. That's a relief. Just enough time to write up my last will and testament. We shouldn't gang up on the poor guy. I'm not his driving. It's not his driving I'm worried about. This one's so funny. Just enough time to write up my last will and testament. Not you too. The rest of the group laughed while Cliff pouted, and you gave him an apologetic shrug. It was too funny of an option. I couldn't not take it. Mom then shouted back in her seat to join in the conversation, a playful smile tilting her lips. What I'm more worried about is this old monster getting us there and back again before falling apart. It looks as though it was built in the early 90s. It must be older than some of the occupants. That's just the aesthetic of the decor. It's not that old. I think. Did you ask what year the bottle was before you rented it? Kira wrinkled her nose in thought.
Hey!
Yes, I did. I just can't remember what the answer was. Cliff chuckled at her while the rest of you let out a collective sigh. The RV lurched a little as it picked up speed, and you held onto the ladder of the loft to keep your balance. You felt something graze the top of your head before a weight settled on your brown hair. When you tilted your chin up carefully to look, you heard the rustling of the bag of chips and realized Elizabeth had rested at the end of it on your head. She gestured to the opening, silently offering to share her snack. Yes, I'm taking chips. I love chips. Reaching up, you scooped up some chips. After that, the weight of the packet left your scalp. You happily munched away as the conversation continued on, and you got closer and closer to your destination. I love chips. I love chips so much. The day flew by, with the group of you chatting, playing games, and passing the time together before finally arriving at the park and setting up for the night. Ma was closing the windows while everyone got ready for bed, saying goodnight to the others as she made her way to the back room. You had all had dinner together while still driving, and some hours after had arrived at your destination and found a spot to park in for the rest of your stay. Words. Giving a look across the front of the RB, you noticed almost everyone there was already dozing off where they were, with Cove having completely fallen asleep curled up in the passenger seat. He must have done so while Kira was driving the last leg, and they had decided not to disturb him. Kira herself was the only one up there who was still awake, flipping through a magazine next to a portable light from her spot on the couch. It seemed Mr. Holden needed to sleep despite his claims. You followed your moms into the back room and closed the door behind you before crawling onto the bed between them. It was a queen-size bed, so there was enough space for the three of you together without too much squishing.
Good night.
Get a good rest, Ace. We've got a big day ahead of us tomorrow.
That's fantastic.
I'm looking forward to the bushwalk in the bushwalk. Walk in the morning. It's been a long time since I was out in nature like this. There will be plenty for us to see. You stayed awake for a little longer while your moms whispered about the park and forests in general. With the sound of their voices in the background, eventually you nodded off to sleep. Da-da-na-na. The next morning, you were up bright and early, preparing for the day ahead. You had slept well, you had an okay sleep, you had slept terribly. I slept well. You fell asleep before you knew it and had woken up rested. Ma whined a bit about the firmness of the mattress, but Mom had only encouraged her to enjoy the trip while she could. While looking for a spot to get ready, you had some trouble finding a space of your own as the others were doing the same thing. Cove was perched on top of the counter, brushing his hair and tucking up his legs every time someone wanted to move past. The parents were checking, double-checking, and triple-checking that you had everything, to the point where you had stopped listening to them altogether. You knew you wouldn't be returning to the RV at all that day, but by the look of the backpacks that were packed up and ready to go, you doubted anything was missing from them. Forest. It looked so pretty. It didn't take much longer until you all exited the RV in a bustle and headed into the Redwood National Park.
Wow.
Indeed. Cove had his head tilted up towards the canopy of trees, his eyes wide as he took in the massive trunks on either side of you. You knew that the redwood trees here were considered the tallest trees on Earth, but you weren't prepared for exactly how huge they would be in person.
Come on.
Smile, you two! You spun just in time for Kira to snap a picture of you and Cove together before she pointed her camera at Cliff, trying to get a shot despite his weak protest that she should just enjoy the moment. Your parents were walking behind the group a little, with Mom telling Ma some information she had read about the park in a brochure. Ma listened happily while looking around and taking in the sights, every now and then asking a question or making a joke about something Mom had said. You smiled at them, thinking your mom must have read a lot of pamphlets to know so much about the park. Maybe you should come and work here as a tour guide if you know so much about the place. Tour guiding would kind of be fun. I don't know. I feel like the only issue would be like knowing so much about the place, but I feel like it would kind of be fun. Just like walking out around a really pretty location, just explaining to other people about it, I guess. I know that it's, again, the customer service kind of aspect in the way. It's not exactly customer service, but it is working with the public. So you could get kind of annoying people every so often. Once during my trip that I had recently, basically, there was, we were at this place, and there were, like, tour guides. We didn't do a guided tour. We went, like, on our own. But there were, like, tour guides around. And then we overheard, basically, that, like, two people from, like, the tour group had, like, left the group without saying anything. And the, like, tour guide had to go, like, around. Like, had to tell the rest of the group to stay somewhere and go around trying to find them again. Because they either had to let them know or, like, why would you, like, pay for a tour without sticking with it kind of thing. So, yeah. So I guess, like, that kind of thing would be, like, frustrating to deal with. But at the same time, I feel like it would be kind of... I just like talking. I just like explaining things I'm passionate about or just that I know a lot about. So I feel like knowing some place really well and being able to, like, explain it to people... I would kind of like that. I just like talking about things I like. That's it. Plus, I like listening to audio guides and, like, learning about a place. So I feel like that part of it would also be kind of fun. I love that kind of thing. I feel like you'd get sick of the tour real quickly. Like, you would have to do the same thing over and over again. That is true. I suppose over time it would kind of get, like, boring. Because, like, you've already given it so many times that it's like you have it to the point where, like, you know the beats, you know what's gonna happen. You know where you're going, you know what you're gonna say. I feel like you'd fall into a routine pretty fast. But I feel like, at least for a little bit, it would be kind of fun. Elizabeth teased, earning a squeeze on the nose from your mom. She seemed to be enjoying herself, but you thought that might just be because she was amused by everyone else's reactions. You were in awe of the redwood trees. You were fascinated by the sensations surrounding you. You were in a good mood. You weren't as impressed as the others. You were embarrassed that the adults were being so touristy. The redwood trees, so cool. Surrounding you on either side, the enormous trees shot up into the sky, the sunlight peeking through their canopy and speckling the path in front of you. The sheer size of the redwoods made you feel like a tiny ant bustling along through the forest. The adults had decided on some casual nature walks rather than any serious hiking, and you strolled along at your own pace, taking in the scenery. Elizabeth sped up a little, smirking at Cove as she fell into place between the two of you, and immediately you could tell by her expression she was going to say something taunting. I can't believe our families are actually on vacation together. She threw her arms out, speaking with a genuine sense of bewilderment. I would have joked about something like this happening, but now I'm not sure I want to give them any more ideas. Cove smiled at her, even if it was a little awkward, and continued walking along. Just watch, next year they'll be talking about their next new amazing idea. She put on a fake voice deeper than her own. We should just sell both of our houses and move in together. Think of how much we'd save on the mortgage. I mean, you would. The living expenses would go down. That's not that bad of an idea. Living expenses would go hell down. It was good that Elizabeth was being sarcastic, as me too. Ghost simply shook his head, not really bothered by her. You suppose he was used to it by this point. But seriously, they really do act like we're a single family, just because we live across the street from each other. Elizabeth gave you and Cove a look, her eyes glinting with mischief as she leered at you.
Yeah.
Maybe one day we'll be related. Legally, anyway. Shut up. She said it as though she was a gossipy old lady. Like, the gossipy old lady voice is such a quick way to get an idea in my head. I can picture it. But she almost immediately dropped the tone and not comfortably said her real thoughts. At least that's what Ma thinks. Gove still blushed, which made Elizabeth smile triumphantly, as though that was her whole purpose for teasing him. Then he mumbled quietly, refusing to make eye contact with either of you. I don't know why you think you're so funny when no one else does. Damn. You told her to cut it out already. Cove has a point. It wasn't a great comment. I'll marry you. You're embarrassed. I can't remember if I did it or not. I'm gonna save and do it. Screw it. I'm just so curious now. I have to. I have to see it. I have to see it. I just have to. Listen, I live for this kind of thing. So give me. Hand over. That would be fitting after all, considering what you thought about when you first met him. He looked at you in disbelief. He genuinely could not believe this is where the conversation had gone. Yeah. Happens. Sometimes. I guess. Sorry. He frowned and reddened harder, but pretended to ignore what you were saying. Your sister noticed what was happening. Oh, he isn't going to engage with this topic. He groaned at the continued teasing and increased the speed of his walk. The day continued on with plenty to see and experience. Okay, fair enough, I can keep it. You passed a few different activities that you would have liked to try out if you had the time, such as kayaking and rock climbing, but Ma said that would have to wait for another trip. Rock climbing's fun. Kayaking's also fun, but I'm very bad at it. It also doesn't help that the one time I've been kayaking, it had to be without glasses, so I could make out the shapes of where I was going. So, you can imagine how well that went. There was a little stream during the walk that you sat beside and set out for a picnic for lunch, nibbling on a selection of fruit, sandwiches, and chips. Various birds flew by overhead, and you made a game out of guessing the species that were hanging out in the trees nearby. A game I would be really bad at, because I don't think I could name more than like 3 species of birds. I think 3's pushing it. You even managed to get a couple of them right, including the kingfisher that grabbed half a Cliff sandwich. Yeah, again, I would not be very good at this game. You were glad you got to do this in the end. You were disappointed to only have 1 day in the park. You thought the long trip wasn't worth only 1 day here. You had more fun hanging on the RB. You hadn't had a good time in this trip. You were glad. Be grateful. It's fun. It was definitely a special experience, and one you would remember for a long time to come. You smiled to yourself, committing the sights and sounds to memory. Your group made it back to camp just as the sun was setting in the sky, and the stars were appearing one by one. I squeezed my arm and it hurt. Where's my muscle here so tense? I just noticed, because I went, it's so tensed. Oh, I need to loosen up. Your group made it back to camp just as the sun was setting in the sky, and the stars were appearing one by one. Everyone had enjoyed different parts of it most. You traded stories of what you thought while you were eating dinner, then afterwards you pitched in to help clean up. You, along with Elizabeth and Cove, got to head back to the RB early and spend some time together while the parents stayed outside longer. It was nice to have the space to yourselves after the cramped journey there, and while Elizabeth had locked herself in the back room with her headphones, you and Cove were left in the main lounge area. Oh, I remember! Oh! Sorry, I had completely forgotten, but this is a vital, important moment. Unless I'm mistaking it, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. I'm pretty sure. I guess we should figure out something to do. No, I'm pretty sure I got it. I've got it. I do. Yes, my brain. Yes. It just fell. It just fell into place. I just had a flashback in real life. Okay? He took a seat on the sofa while Cove sat down on the other end, tapping his fingers against his knees. Your cheeks warmed a little at that, and the butterflies in your stomach were out in full force tonight. You'd seen Cove nearly every day for the past 5 years, but seeing him in a jacket was still somewhat unusual. In Southern California, he could get away with that. It was a simple difference from his normal style, yet you couldn't help but noticing the way he looked. It made you feel incredibly awkward to be thinking such things. Why did you have to be like this? When Cove cleared his throat, your eyes snapped to his. He had an eyebrow raised and had clearly caught you staring at him.
What?
Is everything okay? You averted your gaze from him entirely. Yeah, don't worry about it. You look good in the jacket, that's all. Yeah, everything's really good. You nodded while saying nothing. Yeah. P45. We left all caution out the window. I mentioned it before. We're leaving the caution out the window. It's been done. I filled up my nervousness quota. Cove immediately blushed at the unexpected compliment. You didn't say anything in return, and you thought you should explain further. You know, I hardly ever see you wearing a jacket, especially in summer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I like wearing as few layers as possible. It's easier that way. I'd rather be cold than extra hot, and it's kind of a pain to carry extra clothes around. My parents made me bring this jacket. In the same way, I don't mind either way. I love wearing layers. I love layers and accessories too. I like layers, especially in winter when layering clothes makes it look so good. I'm sorry, but building outfits by layering is so fun. I enjoy it so much. It is so fun. I love it. Accessories too? Kind of. I like the occasional accessory. Right now I've been just wearing a necklace recently. I bought it. I like how it looks. I've just been wearing it. Which is surprising. I don't usually wear anything like bracelets or necklaces or earrings or stuff on a day-to-day. So it's surprising how much I've been able to stick with it. So I'm kind of shocked by myself about it, that I still am enjoying it. But I do like accessories occasionally. So that's probably why I have a closet almost filled to the brim at home. Cove smiled lightly at you and nodded. I've noticed. You perked up at hearing that. He noticed you too? You changed the subject. You asked him what he'd like to see others wear. This is the moment that my brain just flashed back to. Very important. Highly important. I can't stress this enough. I can't stress this enough. Important, vital character development moment. So, what type of stuff do you think looks good on somebody else? Not for yourself. Just not asking for any reasons in particular, obviously. Just asking because for a friend. He was eyes wide at the question, and his defensive reply seemed to slip out before he'd had the chance to have a proper think about it. Nothing response, which is so freaking funny. Nothing. That's funny. It is really funny. It is really funny. It's funny. A short laugh escaped you and you stopped yourself quickly with a hand pressed against your mouth. It's funny. Arguably funny.
Come on.
So what I meant. I know. But it's funny. You compose yourself and sat up straighter, all traces of laughter disappearing from your face. Is there with what you do mean, then? Isn't there anything at all you think looks good when you see it on someone? Goat mumbled under his breath and you couldn't quite catch the words. He was having a difficult time with the subject. It was a topic that made him uncomfortable, so you let it go. You had a little fun and that was enough. You changed the subject. You're not very good at these conversations, are you? I swear I won't make fun of you. I just thought it would be fun to talk about. I just want him to answer, because I know what it is. You didn't intend it for this to sour the mood. Ghost sighed and looked down at his lap where he was fidgeting with his hands, still reluctant to give an answer.
I don't know.
You made an unimpressed sound over how this was going. Are you sure? Fine, I guess I kind of like ankle bracelets. Ankle bracelets. Yeah, everyone can wear a pretty bracelet. Wrist ones are cool too, but they're pretty normal. There's something fun or flirty about ankle bracelets.
I mean...
It's more special or something. I don't know how to explain it. Rob pressed his knuckles against his cheek awkwardly, seemingly unsure where to go from here. Thanks for answering. I like them too. Out of everything in the world, you picked that. So no. Thanks for answering.
You're welcome.
When he said nothing else, you took a moment to gather your own thoughts. Anklets. You have to get an anklet ASAP. Maybe you're wearing anklets more often now. Maybe you wouldn't wear your anklets so often. You thought about buying an anklet of your own. You were happy to hear more about Go, but it didn't really change anything. I'm proud to say that the first time I played this game, I owned no anklets. From me replaying this scene now, I own 2 anklets. Character development in real life. Yes, first time playing this game, I owned none. Now I own 2. And I really like them. One's like a leaf metal one, and the other one's like a string one. It has little, like, shells and stuff. Very pretty. Both of them, very nice. Like them a lot. So, yeah. Progress in real life. So now I officially do have anklets that I can wear. So, there we go. Yeah, the leaf one's very pretty. I like the leaf one a lot. You had a couple of different ones at home. With this new knowledge, you might slip them into your daily outfits in the future. You know. Because. Go looked away, feeling awkward about this. You gave him an understanding look, and usually he would start to smile like normal again, but not this time. His expression only stiffened more. You were surprised to see him like this, as he always bounced back pretty quickly after being flustered. Gove? Still, he wouldn't look at you, and now even his breathing was growing tense. It began to click. He was trying to build himself up enough to say something hard for him. You waited for it silently. Until finally, he peeked your way through the corner of his eyes. You were fully attentive by this point for whatever he was going to mention next.
That's,
Swooning. Dying. Passing away for personal reasons. I'm not working currently. Not now. Yeah, just, Oh, I'm such an idiot. No, it's so sweet though. You love having brown eyes. That's also something I like. Huh? For a moment, you were stunned and at a complete loss for words. That was definitely not where you imagined this was going. Cliff faced you head on, his expression full of desperate meaning. You got the distinct impression he hadn't chosen that just because he liked the color brown. He chose it entirely because it was your eye color. Was he trying to flirt with you? That was all you can think. Your legs felt like jelly and you wondered if you might fall right off the couch. What do you like for another person, Ace? Oh my god, everything about it. Just, oh my god. Oh, these are great. Oh, I could have so much game right now. I just say the last one. Oh, I could have so much. Welcome to I could just flirt back relentlessly. I did say I was throwing caution out the window. Man, today I'm winning. I did say I was gonna throw caution out the window. So let's stick with it. No fear. Going still, his eyes widening in surprise. It was definitely a lot for him to hear, but you couldn't help yourself. It was the truth. You adored him. And now you were both flirting with each other. Yay! Success! Winner is us! Woohoo! He placed his hands in his lap and looked down. It seemed he hadn't expected to get this far and didn't know where to go from here. With that topic abruptly dropped off, Cove officially had no more to say on it. The parents all arrived soon after, each of them climbing into the RV and finding some place to sit down and rest their legs. Elizabeth, having heard the commotion, came out from the room for the first time since arriving and joined you all. You spent the evening chatting and playing a few games, enjoying the last evening of the trip together. Bedtime arrived within the blink of an eye. As the group hunkered down for the night, your mom did a final round to be sure nothing had been left behind. She explained that Cliff was going to start driving early in the morning, like on the first day, but would be letting everyone else in the group sleep. There wouldn't be need for all of them to get up. Very true. Now is the time to check you hadn't left anything outside. You, as well as everyone else, were confident you had it... Oh my god. You're confident you had it all packed up inside the RV, which meant it was time to get some rest before the journey home tomorrow. Your mom and Elizabeth said goodnight, heading to the back room while you climbed up to the loft. Cove and his family got situated below in the previously set arrangement. You tried to get comfortable as a million thoughts were running through your mind. Are you ready for the best part of this one? Fasten your seatbelts. It was hard to believe that the trip was practically over, and before you knew it, you'd be back in your own bed at home. You enjoyed this mini adventure. You thought the trip had been okay. You felt the trip was a waste of time. You hadn't had a good time. I enjoyed the mini adventure. It was short, that was for sure, but you got to see and do so much during your time here. All in all, it was a nice break away from home. The minutes ticked by silently. It didn't take long for the soft snores of Cliff and Kira to drift up to you. They were asleep now. You wondered if Cove was still awake and decided to poke your head out from the loft to find out. You blinked through the dark. Looking down the hall, you noticed Cove laying on his back, his eyes staring straight up at the ceiling. His seafoam hair was spread out on his sleeping bag. He must have thought you watching him because suddenly his eyes locked on yours. It was difficult to see much in the dim light, but you can make out the crooked smile on his face well enough. You grinned back at him. You made a silly face. You waved at him. Waving. Go waved back, still smiling at you through the dim light. So cute. You then gestured him for him to come over. You then went back to trying to sleep. You then decided to have fun quietly. Yes, absolutely. Gov looked unsure about it, but you were happy to see him slowly start to sit up anyway. His sleeping bag rustled as he moved, though he tried to go slow and froze like a deer in the headlights every time he made a sound, watching his parents for any sign of movement. Eventually, he managed to maneuver around his sleeping dad and made it to the ladder, standing on the bottom rung where he looked up at you and whispered. He opened his mouth to speak before it shut closed for another second. Yes, new stuff. I'm so glad I chose that option. I'm so happy. I forgot that, yes. When the game remembers stuff, I know I got really silent. I'm whispering for effect because I'm really, oh my gosh. Yes, 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 we are winning so much right now. I'm so giddy. I'm so giddy. Is that my shirt? Yeah. Well, okay. Thanks. For what?
It's nice.
I don't know. Liking it, I guess. He was so sweet. You're feeling very glad to have brought it. I am feeling so glad. I'm feeling so glad. I'm gonna get cavities. The amount of sugar I feel like I'm intaking. It's too much. It's too much. Then Cove shook his head to refocus.
So...
Why did you call me? Oh, it's nothing. Good night. How are you doing? You invited him up into the loft. This moment hits. It hits. Do you want to come up? His eyes widened just so. You could only tell because he had come to where you were. Cove glanced behind him quickly at his sleeping parents before turning back to you. Okay. You broke out into a grin and scooched back as far as you could, making space for Cove to crawl in. He was very tall, so it wasn't a great fit for him, but he managed to squeeze himself in. Luckily, you were short enough to leave him with some room. Yes, the height difference comes in our favor! Success! Moments I appreciate not having a face cam. Just waving my arms about a lot right now. You lay down next to each other on your sides, face to face. He got under the blanket a bit. One of his arms was nestled under his head for comfort. The other had nowhere to go and rested alongside his chest on the floor of the loft. Cove spoke to you softly. So, what am I doing here? I don't know. I thought we could hang out. You could sleep here instead of the floor. Yeah. Cove raised an eyebrow, not having expected you to bring that up now. Not sure about this. Cove swallowed loudly, and you noticed he wouldn't look you in the eyes anymore. You were feeling nervousness too. You felt comfortable being so close to him. His reaction, you happy? I feel very comfortable. Yes. It seemed natural to have him near you, and being close like this only made it better. You thought back to earlier in the evening when you and Cove had been talking alone on the sofa. You had definitely been flirting then, and now you were here. You laid there silently. You tried to ease things with conversation. You nudged closer to him. You touched his free arm lightly. You laid your fingers on Cove's arm, feeling the warmth of his skin beneath them. Cove's face flushed dark enough to notice even in the almost pitch-black RV cabin. His hand resting in front of him tightened, balling into a fist. Is this okay?
Yeah.
I'm fine. I mean, I'm not dying or anything. Cove's eyebrows bent up nervously, but his smile widened. He curled himself deeper into the loft and closer to you. He looked away as he did it. There was almost no space left between he and you. Cove's breath tickled the side of your face. For a moment, you stayed together like that. This is so sweet. I can't. Oh my god. I'm just so... The smile on my face so wide right now. Neither of you spoke a word. When your eyes locked again, Cove seemed almost taken aback by the situation, as though it hadn't completely hit him what it was going to feel like to do this until just now. He opened his mouth to say something, but shut it tight before anything came out. You went to sleep how you were. You moved back. You snuggled against him. What the fuck? No! 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 We're not doing this yet! Kinda wanna do this. No. Me. No. Me and myself? No. We're not moving back. 'Cause, no. Just in case we're gonna yes, over my save. Me being slightly paranoid. You closed the distance completely and nuzzled your face into his chest. You could hear his heart beating rapidly. Cove stiffened up and let out a yelp, which he quickly bit down on his lip to stifle. He gave you an apologetic look. This still wasn't bad for him, just surprising. After a few more moments, he settled in, his breath deep and steady. He rested his chin against the top of your head. You could peek up and see him smiling, and it made you happier to know he was enjoying the moment too. It is making me so happy, I know! It's making me so happy! The two of you fell asleep before long, cuddled up together. Wholesome! I can't! That's so sweet! This is this game! I'm feeling so giddy. When you woke up the next morning, it was to the rumble of the RB as it traveled the long journey home. You noticed quickly that you weren't as warm as you had been during the night, when you checked next to you, Cove was gone. Blinking sleepily, you peeked over the edge of the loft to find out where he had gone. Maybe he had snuck back to his spa on the floor during the night? However, you soon noticed him sitting on the couch talking quietly with his mom, his head hung in embarrassment. Your movement gave you away, and Kira suddenly looked up and caught your eye. She simply smiled amusedly at you, and it was obvious what happened. Cove hadn't gotten away with it. They found him there in the loft, and then you woke up while he was trying to explain. Well, you see. You knew it was gonna be a long, long time before you lived this one down. If you ever did. Worth it. Fair enough. Listen, feels like a small price to pay for that. Sue and your moms and Elizabeth emerged from their room, dressed and ready for the day of travel. You spent most of the day hanging out together in the RB, savoring the last few hours of vacation. Kira suggested a few different travel games she used to play with Cove when he was younger, and you all had a great time competing against each other. A little later in the day, you tried to talk to Cove about what happened in the loft, but he simply apologized and changed the subject. It was a bit too much for him to try speaking on, especially right now. You understood. When the RB finally pulled onto your street, it was well into the night, and you were looking forward to crawling into your own bed after the last few days away. Everyone else must have been feeling the same because it was mutually agreed that unpacking and cleaning the RB would wait until morning. Once home again, you went straight up to your room and dropped onto your bed, shoes and all. You were happy to be in your own bed. It felt weird to be alone. It felt good to be alone. You wish you were still on the trip. You missed being near Cove. Let's just be fairly honest at this point. The two of you had basically been living together for 3 days. It was nice. But you knew that it wouldn't be the last time the two of you would spend time together, and that thought comforted you. With those last few thoughts drifting through your mind, it wasn't long before you dozed off to sleep. Tomorrow, life would go on like normal. This game, we've been at this for almost 3 hours. I had not noticed. We hit 246 hours. It's 9:40. It's 9:46. Where did the time go? Where did the time go? Where did the time go? So, newsflash, if you couldn't tell, I really, really like this game. I really, really like this game. I'm not even joking when I say that it's kind of all I want to play right now. Listen, I'm not saying that all streams are probably going to be our life until I'm done replaying and seeing all the DLC stuff. But I'm just saying that it might as well be. Like, I know I'm planning on the community night. Don't worry. You still vote on that. Friday, Saturday, I gotta be community night. Still want to go back to Cult of the Lamb. Haven't in a bit. Want to. Obviously. But I'm having such a great time. I'm not even gonna lie to you about it. I'm having such a good time. It's kind of what I want to do. Like, at first I was really hesitant to do, like, the same games, like, 2 days in a row, and then I wasn't gonna do, like, 3 streams in a row our life, and then I just kind of really wanted to, and I realized that as long as you guys are okay with that, I'm so down to just keep going, because I'm really enjoying myself, and I'm really having a lot of fun, and, like, the same thing happens every time I get into a game again. when I was doing Blooming Panic at the time, I'm going to switch to just chatting because I am just chatting. When I was doing Blooming Panic at the time, it was kind of just like, I would, like, for example, I would do today, wouldn't do it tomorrow, and I would do it the night, like, so it would, like, one day apart. Like, I would be doing it really recently because I just wanted to see more of the game. I just wanted to just keep enjoying it because I was enjoying it so much. And now the kind of same thing is happening, but I just want to see more of it. I want to see the Step 3 DLC. I want to get back to the Step 4 DLC. I want to do the wedding stuff. There is so much. I just want to relive this game so much. I'm having so much fun with it. I don't think I need to say it, but I feel like I'm justifying my decision of wanting to keep doing streams on our life. Just so I can kind of satiate my, like, thoughts, because the whole point of this is, like, replaying and seeing the DLCs for the first time. So I could, like, start from step 1 on my own time, but I want to see the stuff I haven't seen. That's the issue, and I can't do that off stream. So my only choice is to stream it. So you might be seeing a lot of our life. It might be our life again tomorrow. I don't know. I'm having so much fun with it. I'm just having so much fun with it. I'm not, and I don't want to guilt myself into the whole, I don't want to do the days in a row, whatever thing, if I'm just having fun with it. And if you guys are having fun with it as well, then let's have fun with it. I'm having fun. And I want to have fun, and I want to continue to have fun, and I'm having fun. Fun. But yes, I love this game. Kind of want to start replaying our life. I would totally, I would only encourage just playing it. It's free. The DLCs are free. And it's incredible this game's free with 3 DLCs. With incredibly worth the money DLCs, might I add. Or just replaying it if you've already played it, because it's so good. It's just do whatever you want. It's your choice. Very true. But then I always just overthink it. And I shouldn't. I should just do it. And that's what I was telling myself that today. I was just like, if I just want to keep playing our life, I should just keep playing our life. Just keep playing our life. And then I just posted a meme on my old Twitter to kind of hint that I was going to do it again. And then I just went, yeah, screw it. So, you know what? Tomorrow the same thing might happen, where I might just go, you know what? Screw it, and just play again. Do the summer ending bit, and start step 3 maybe. Maybe do a long boy at some point. Maybe start the stream earlier someday, and do long boy. Like, just this long boy stream. Or if we end up doing community night, for example, Friday, have Saturday be long boy stream, or the other way around. If we end up doing community night Saturday, have Friday be long boy stream. Either way, this is a lot of fun. I enjoyed Soiree so much. The dance part at the end made me very emotional. I enjoyed reliving Road Trip. One of my just favorite of just the base game, using the Sims term. One of my favorites overall, and yes, that'd be amazing. Yep. So maybe Friday or Saturday, the day we don't do community night, long boy stream. Either start earlier or finish really late. I'll let you know. Once it's like Thursday, and we'll see where we are game-wise, how much progress we've made our life-wise, which will probably be a little, like, it won't be much, because it's, Monday now? And we need to do the entire summer ending bit. We might only get through one moment or no moment, like 1 moment or 2 at most next time, because the summer ending bits are longish. And we usually get to like 2 moments per like normal-ish stream. So we probably made enough. Arista left us a bit, even if we could just like do step 4 or something like that, if we do somehow end up getting through the end of step 3. But yeah, long boy stream. I like long boy streams. Plus, it would be very, quote-unquote nostalgic. It hasn't been that long. When I used to stay up to like 1 a.m. just playing this game. Such a long story, which is a part as to why it's so good. You can really get into it. Yes, I just feel like it really feels like a linear timeline thing, which is the whole entire point. but it really feel like there's two things that really make this really immersive, but it is the way it's structured. Like the time skips are perfect. It's very significant points where it's like interesting to pick back up on, like you see where the summer ends, you flash forward, see where it starts, and then you get the moments, and then you get the ending again. It's a good structure. And second, the fact that it remembers the stuff that you've done before. So, like, little stuff, like the shirt from today, like it remembering it from Escapade, showing up on Road Trip, that kind of thing. Or even stuff from, like, Step 1 showing up on Step 2 as recalls. It really feels like you are playing through a linear timeline. And it is so easy to lose yourself in that. It feels like a whole story. A long story, but that's what makes it so, like, charming. It really feels like a linear timeline, and that's awesome. It's so, it's so, like, quote-unquote immersive in that way. You can really just get into the story. It's very engaging to just get into the story. But yeah, I've mentioned it so much, and it's such a small thing, but every time it recalls to something else, my favorite thing. You picked something before, it's like stuff, even tiny stuff where it asks you about your hobbies, like stuff you like doing, and then it remembers it. And like dinner, when like I mentioned writing, like that a while ago, and then in dinner, Ira asks about the writing. It's like that kind of thing where it's like you do something and it comes back. It's like that kind of thing makes it feel so much more linear. It's like, yes, these are actual things that are happening, and these characters remember it, and it changes things throughout. It changes how these memories work. It's so good. Makes it feel so much more immersive in that way, because it's like, oh yeah, that happened, and like, and this is a callback too, and it's like you remember that as well, which happens to me all the time. And every time it gets recalled, I'm just like, oh my god, that's right. Feels so good. It feels so good. I love that so much. It's like, yes, these are actual things that are like happening. It's like, yeah. Like, yes, they remember this, we remember that. You still own this because you have it. Like, all that kind of stuff. Just all that kind of stuff. Remembering the stuff with the balloon, like on the car, all this on the way on summer work. Remember the balloon thing on Step 1. Remembering the balloons, the dolphin balloons in the car in summer work. Or remembering the ice cream from the fireworks in Step 1 in birthday. That kind of thing. Just callbacks, things, like something happens, it reminds you of it, it just happens. Yeah, this game's amazing, I love it. So do I. It's so good. It's so good. I will never stop praising this game. I enjoy it so much. It is so incredibly good. And all the characters are great, and everything's built up so well. And again, that timeline effect, that it really feels like time's passing. Stuff is occurring. Like, there is a remembering of things that have happened a long time ago. It's so wonderful. I love it. I love it so much. I love it. I'm so excited to keep replaying this. I'm so excited to see the stuff I haven't seen. I'm very excited about the Step 3 DLC. I'm very excited about the Wedding DLC. I'm genuinely just so excited. I love this game. I love this game so much. I just keep staring at my screen where the moments... I just keep staring at this so fondly. I'm just looking over, just... like, my eyes be doing card eye emoji. Like, in real life. You're gonna love the wedding. I'm sure I am. I'm so excited about the wedding. I'm genuinely so excited for this wedding. I feel like it feels so momentous, and I'm still using all Step 3, all Step 4, but, because I want to do the proposal thing again, obviously. But I'm so excited about the wedding. Can't wait. More reason to keep streaming our lives so I can get to the wedding. So yeah, just feeling really giddy, really happy about this game. I love it so much. It brings me so much joy, an immense amount of joy. I love it so much. This best discovery ever. I'm so happy about this. But out of Googling good free games to like try when I was trying to brainstorm ideas for like what other games I could play for stream. I am so grateful that this showed up, and I was like, yeah, you know what? Yeah. So incredibly happy. Love it so much. Anyway, and with that, and with me singing praises again, as I will continue to do so, with that, we'll call it a night. Hey, music, do you want to start up again? There you go, thank you. It feels really awkward to speak without it. That little time in between it switches between songs, really awkward. It has so many customizations and Cove's outfits are beautiful. I'm very excited. Sleep well and dream amazing dreams of taking Coast to soirees and sneaking him into your bed. Yes! Anyway, have a great rest of your day. Have a good night as well. I hope you have a great day tomorrow. Until we speak again. Let's find a good ending song. My phone is like, you're supposed to be in bed. I'm like, shut up. Shh. It's fine. You're not the boss of me. We're doing this one. Yeah. Bye. There we go. Have a great rest of your day. Have a good night as well. And yeah. Bye-bye. 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 Bye. Bye. That was a weird intonation. Bye.